Yes.
And
what is up, guys? Welcome.
You agree with
to Truth and Transparency. We are going to get all up in this because we have to. We're going to jump right into it. This is Jennifer Nichols. And there's a spelling I have to correct. It's Nichols. It's not Nicholas. It's Jennifer Nichols. Her outrageous, malicious prosecution of Zachary Adams. This is who is the ringleader of orchestrating how we can get all these people to testify to a certain narrative so that we can get a conviction. Wow. All I have to say is wow. So I'm going to speed this up, but let's see.
with me, closing arguments are important to connect the evidence that the prosecution thinks it's proven.
That is certainly the goal.
Okay.
This is from last week.
No, Your Honor. It is important for you to present to the jury evidence that you think is true.
Of course.
And you would agree it's misconduct.
Okay, so she was the lead prosecutor who prosecuted Zachary Adams for the murder of Holly Bobo. Okay, now just recently, over in the past couple years, there's been movement in this case with Zachary Adams. He's always maintained his innocence. Him and his friends were basically like burnouts, meth heads. Yeah. And why I took interest in this is because there was a nonprofit organization, kind of like what I want to do with Fight for a Family. And it's to help families navigate through the criminal justice system. And if they think that their loved one was wrongfully convicted, if it's an ongoing case and you need help, whatever it may be, just to help the families. And here in this situation, from my understanding of looking at what I've looked at, is that this nonprofit organization helped Karen Bobo. And it was actually this nonprofit organization that was like, hey, you need to look at these 4 people. These 4 people are, and Zachary Adams was one of them. These 4 people are the ones that were involved in this. And so I think that this nonprofit got it completely wrong. But it's like, how did this happen? And how was a nonprofit in real time basically running an investigation? I'm just like, wait, what?
Conduct to state evidence.
Like the Karen Bobo was basically running the investigation as well. TBI people were saying that a guy by the name of Terry Britt was involved. So let's see what this woman says on the stand. Okay, this is the special prosecutor who we're going to find out a lot more about her and her career. She was picked to be the special prosecutor in this case. She was a prosecutor for 20 years. Then she went and worked for the Department of Child Services. She was around when the whole Summer Wells thing went down. Let me verbatimly give it to you. So Jennifer Nichols was best known for being the special prosecutor in the Holly Bobo case. She spent 20 years as a prosecutor in Shelby County. I played in a basketball tournament in Shelby County. Shelby County before Governor Bill Lee picked her to lead the Department of Children's Services in 2019. She was quickly faced with leading the department through the pandemic. During that time, a leaked employee survey showed many employees concerned about workers quitting, rising caseloads, and a toxic work environment. We're not being able to cover all the bases with these kids because they are understaffed, said Republican Gloria Johnson. Last summer, a caseworker leaked video of children sleeping on the floor of a DCS office building in Nashville. It was first reported by the Tennessee Lookout and then picked up by media across the state. The kids had been removed from their homes because it was unsafe, but DCS had no foster home for them. Former caseworker Terry Nelson spoke exclusively to News Channel 5 Investigates and said that she released the video because people needed to know what was happening. They're sleeping on the floor. They don't even have blankets. That's demeaning. We just told them they don't matter, Nelson said. Nelson was fired by the department after releasing the video. I definitely thought it could put a target on my back, Nelson said. News Channel 5's ongoing investigation recently found more than 40 kids ran away from the downtown DCS office building in the last year. Many were there because DCS had no immediate foster home to put them in. After that report, some state lawmakers said they were losing confidence in Nichols. I don't know how anyone could have full confidence in the department or the commissioner right now. Does the DCS commissioner have your full confidence? Just last week, News Channel 5 investigators reported the department had 600 caseworker vacancies. Oh my God. The number of families willing to foster has also steadily fallen. So anyways, it goes on and on about this. She was in charge of it. This is this broad. She's the ringleader and told these people how to testify. Allegedly, that's what people are recanting and saying now. So here she is. She's a judge right now. This broad is a judge.
It's not true if you know it,
Right.
or if you should know it.
Well, that's two different things.
But if you should know it,
Well, if you know it, yes. If you should know it, I would say it would be subjective.
fair. And would you agree at this point that any inconsistencies, quote unquote, the closing argument is a chance to show what is the state's theory, resolving any inconsistent evidence?
No.
So if it says one thing, if you say one thing, you're okay if it's the other?
That's not what I said.
Okay.
I disagreed with your premise. I believe closing argument is the opportunity to go over with the jury what the proof was.
Okay.
And you may discuss jury instructions if they were charged ahead of time, or if you have permission or seem to have an understanding of what the judge will charge.
Let me ask you, you don't have to follow this. I'll read it. Page 2732, line 9. You remember the night, the 13th, the 911 call? Do you remember the heavy breathing of Dick Adams, who had to wrestle 2 guns away from his grandson? Do you remember Zachary Adams asking his grandfather as well as his brother for their vehicle? Why didn't he have a vehicle? Why didn't he have a vehicle? Where was the white truck? Hidden in Victor Densmore's garage for a minute and then returned back to the Bells. Do you remember saying that?
I was going to ask you, are you reading? Is that what I said?
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't remember saying it. I've never reviewed my closing argument. If that's what the court reporter took down, I have no reason to suspect that I didn't say that.
And you would agree that is saying your belief that Victor Densmore had the truck in his garage.
No, in fact, we're not allowed to give what I think and I guess this and I that. You're supposed to not, what we're supposed to argue is what the proof was,
Right.
as opposed to our own opinions.
Well, the proof was Victor Densmore said in the answer that we went over before lunch, Victor Densmore said, no, I don't remember it. Then you clarified it. Well, sometime or other, you said that you put the garage in and after the mattress trace after the abduction. We just went over that before lunch.
Okay.
Right?
I'm waiting for the question.
Where did you pull this out of to present to the jury that what Victor Densmore testified or said to Brent Booth in May was somehow wrong? Where'd you get that?
Everything I said was based on what I remembered the proof as being.
Okay. Talk about the gun. Well, that's exactly what you said, page 2734. Let's talk about the gun.
Do you want me to go to try and find that page?
You don't have to. I'll read it for you and we can discuss. What are the chances Jason Autry finally started talking? He didn't know where the gun was, hadn't seen the gun since shortly after it was used to kill Holly Bobo.
Right.
And he went with his cousin Shane, traded it for drugs to Victor Densmore. He's done it with it at that point. He's done with it at that point. Victor Densmore gives it to his wife to carry. He's sitting there one night talking to somebody, and he gets worried about where the gun has been, what gun is this? I better get rid of the gun. He tells her, get rid of it. She does. He's done with the gun. That's in 2011. They left Tennessee before the end of the year. And when TBI agents go to talk to Victor Densmore and his wife, they tell us where the gun is. They dig, they use a backhoe, they bring him down, can't find it. Road's been regraded. It looks different. They go back, they talk to them some more. She's thought about it again. They go back to the spot. She tells them with underwater detectors, and guess what? They find a gun. I don't know why Miss Thompson is upset that it wasn't buried. Nobody had said it was sitting on top. You saw the pictures. There and there, what it looked like when they raised it, it was covered in slime and rust and all sorts of crap. And Serving Broswell soaked it, got it off, and guess what? Guess what? It still fires. It still fires. Still loaded. Still fires. Your opinion was that was the murder weapon that was found. Correct?
Yes.
Do you remember the various statements regarding various weapons that were used, or possibly used?
No. You asked.
Okay, so to the jury, she's presenting, you cannot present evidence falsely. And so she's presenting to the jury that that's the murder weapon. That this murder weapon was of Zachary Adams, and that he gave it to Dinsmore for an exchange of drugs. And that later on, Dinsmore was like, oh my God, we got to get rid of that gun that Zachary Adams gave us, okay, to his wife, like, because I think it was used in a murder. Okay.
Me earlier about a long gun or something. I don't remember.
I hand you IR 1929, and a copy to the court. Can you identify the century?
No.
IR 1929 exhibit
120.
112. Okay, respect.
Familiar with this?
No. Well, I mean, being familiar, meaning as I sit here today, no. If it's an IR, then perhaps I was at one time.
All right, just read it.
I'm sorry, what?
Please just read it.
Stop running your cocksucker.
Okay.
So we have in January of 2014, it's a 22 rifle that may have been used. You see that? Yes.
I'm finding that statement again. I see where this person reported that that person told her that her husband bought a 22 rifle that may have been used in the Bobo case.
And are you familiar with the Victor Dinsmore, Dennis Benjamin conversation in February of 2014? Victor Dinsmore says the only two guns related to Shane Austin are a 22 rifle and a 22 pistol.
No.
Do you ever remember listening to that conversation?
Not as I sit here today.
You remember listening to the conversation where Victor Dinsmore was threatened by Dennis Benjamin in March of 2014?
I do not remember.
Okay. If Dennis Benjamin was threatening the death penalty on Victor Dinsmore, would that be important as a prosecutor relying on these witnesses?
Ooh.
If a non-prosecutor was threatening someone else with the death penalty,
Yes, ma'am.
that's what your investigator did. One of the witnesses threatened arrest and prosecution. I didn't, those people have no ability to make those decisions. So I'm not sure. I don't know the context. I don't remember what was said. So I don't remember being particularly struck by it.
You don't remember if Dennis Benjamin, the man who got Dylan Adams' statement that you say I don't believe, told Victor Dinsmore, I've talked to the TBI, the FBI, the Bobo family. If you don't give us the body, you're blank.
I do not remember. But remember, Mr. Bates, we didn't prepare a trial against Dylan Adams.
Now, you remember you didn't take notes during Mr. Autry's proffer, correct?
Correct.
You remember what firearm Mr. Autry said he remembered seeing on Mr. Austin's holster?
I am guessing. So take this give it what weight you want to. I think he thought it was a 38. I don't know the most about guns. I think he thought it was a 38, but I don't.
Witness can be passed exhibit 61.
She's a judge. Okay, so let's just be clear about this too. There was all these motions put in, okay? And so Jennifer here is like, this does not meet the standard. We should not be having, like, this needs to go nowhere. Well, clearly she lost, okay? Because we're here today. We're here last week for 2 days. And we're going to be here today when this picks up from where it left off. And so you lost, Jennifer. This is a hearing that was heard on numerous grounds. But she has the balls to say that there is no new evidence. Somebody recanting their confession is new evidence.
I'm sorry, what?
You'll be passed exhibit 61 and look on page 2. Not third of the page.
Thank you.
It's hard to get these.
What am I looking for?
What caliber gun?
You said focus on the top third.
Oh, page 2.
It's on page 1. So this says 357.
Okay. Then, do you
Do you want me to
remember
keep- do
in
you want
May of
Do you want me to
2007?
keep holding this?
You can if you would like.
Well, no.
Okay.
Do you want me to hold this?
No, ma'am, sorry.
Okay.
You can give it back to court officer.
Stack it up.
This is a mess.
Do you remember on May 8th, 2017, meeting with Mr. Autry and his attorney to further the narrative about this gun and its relation to Victor Dinsmore?
I do not. I know that I met with Mr. Autry a handful of times. I'm never going to remember a date.
Mr. Audrey is who's recanted and is saying that right here, Mwa was the ringleader in, hey, you're going to testify to this. I'm going to train you how to testify because you're going to sell it like you've never sold. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to tell you what to say. That's what he's claiming.
Or most likely what was discussed.
Which is sometimes why notes are helpful. Would you not agree?
Well, certainly why these IRs are helpful.
These
Right.
IRs are
Do you
investigative
recognize
reports.
IR 3142?
I do not recognize it.
Okay, so these IRs I have here, these are investigative reports. So, for example, IR 197 I have here, IR 3152. And so these are like no different than like a supplemental report. So in Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, they write them up as an investigative report. And it has the case number and then the IR number, just like we've been seeing with like the, Idaho 4 case. And it says the author of the report, the case agent, the description. So this was an oral interview of Jason Wayne Autry.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it?
Yes, ma'am.
While she's reading, will there be objections to this IR? We'll move it into evidence as exhibit 120.
All right, so here, I want to read
I
this.
read it.
Now, would you agree that the date,
Wait,
the activity date was May 8th, 2017, but the report was generated on June 12th, 2017?
That's what it says.
Would you agree that
I didn't prepare it, so
of course not,
but that's what it says.
you agree that the 32 revolver was found in between these dates?
I don't remember when it was found. I know that finding
she's lying because I have this right here. The activity date right here is February 7th, 2017. The report date is June 30th on this one, 2017. What he just said was a report that happened 3 days before this report. And this report that I have in my hand is on February 7, 2017. Jason Wayne Autry was transported by the Tennessee Department of Corrections to Decatur County to be interviewed per an agreement between his attorneys and the state. Autry was to provide details of what happened to Holly Bobo, to include details of the route he and Zachary Adams took before and after Bobo was killed. Autry and Special Agent Joe Walker rode in the back of the Decatur County Sheriff's Department patrol car. Special Agent Brent Booth and I followed behind them in a separate vehicle. Autry's attorneys, the prosecution team, and other law enforcement officers were in other vehicles that followed in the caravan. Special Agent Walker phoned Special Agent Booth and kept the speakerphone on so we could listen to the interview of Autry. He and his attorneys were aware the interview was being monitored by other agents. Who would ever agree to this as an attorney? The interview was not recorded. The following is a summary of Audrey's interview. This is going to get the gun. This is a summary of Audrey's interview. They're trying to act like they didn't record this. Do you guys really think for a second this wasn't recorded? Do you think for a second this wasn't recorded? This was so recorded. They're lying. That would veer so out of policy. Okay. We want to be able to use this in court, right? Why aren't we recording it? Oh, because of what's being said in order to get him to say what he's going to say. Audrey directed the deputy to take him to the area of Yellow Springs Road near Shane Austin's grandmother's house. Upon arrival, Audrey and others exited the vehicle and focused their attention to a field. Audrey stated that Zachary Adams told him Bobo had been raped in a hog barn that had been in this field across the road from Austin's grandmother's house. The barn has since been torn down. Audrey went on to say approximately 4 to 6 months after Zachary Adams told him of the rape, Audrey went to the barn looking for the debris that had possibly been left behind after the rape. He found none. From the field, Audrey directed us to Yellow Springs Church. This is where he said Zachary Adams picked him up so that they could dispose of the body. Next, we drove to Austin's house. This is where Audrey stated that he first saw Bobo. Austin's house is very close to Yellow Springs Church, and the driveway of Austin's house can be seen from the church parking lot. The night before Bobo was kidnapped, Audrey had stayed with Angela Scott. She had an order of protection against him, so he parked down the street from her house. They spent the night together, and then the next morning, Angela Scott took him to his vehicle. Audrey and Scott usually met for lunch each day, and he had planned to meet her on the day Bobo was kidnapped. Audrey stated that on the morning of Bobo's disappearance, he woke up early and wanted some morphine from Adams or Austin. Dude, if you didn't record this, how in the world could you literally have an IR that is, no joke, 6 pages like this if this was not recorded? Unbelievable.
The gun was the basis for a trial.
Okay. So now,
So,
Of course not.
but that's,
listen to this.
I've read it.
He hands her an IR, an investigative report.
Now, would you agree that the activity date was May 8th, 2017, but the report was generated on June 12th, 2017?
That's what it says.
Would you agree that
I didn't prepare it. So,
of course not.
but that's what it says.
You agree that the .32 revolver was found in between these dates?
I don't remember when it was found. I know that finding the gun was the basis for a trial continuance, and I can't remember the dates of those. I know that the date it was found is certainly recorded somewhere.
Okay. Would you agree with me during May, there's now this effort to go back and forth between Autry and Dinsmore, Autry and Dinsmore?
it was not where I was putting my time.
It's where Brent Booth was putting his time.
Well,
Yes or no?
I don't know. I cannot tell you what part of his days he was spent on those issues. I'm sure
Bullshit.
if the if the IRs show what he was doing, and that's what it appears, or that's what's proven, then it is.
Dude, it's like Bill Thompson. She was calling the shots. She was she went everywhere. She did everything.
We're now going to play Exhibit 63. Ms. Nickel, this is the recording from May 19th, the second day of Brent Booth's trip to Indianapolis to see Mr. Dinsmore. And prior to lunch, you heard the first hearing where Mr. Dinsmore's talking about the gun that he in exchange with Shane, correct?
I heard the recording from the first day.
Okay, and now let's go to the second day, starting at minute 5, second 40.
And he said that he didn't get him all over, but I didn't trust fronting to him, but I didn't give him pay later because he'd never do that. I heard it. He buy it, but he buy it correctly from you. Yeah, he had cash, but I wouldn't let him get him a run because he never paid. I'm notorious to that.
You talked about the gun. Do you remember them trading you a revolver for Shane and Shane trading you a revolver for
Shane, I remember now that Shane traded me a black 38 revolver. All right. That is a regular revolver, but it was only consistent cylinder, like 357. He came to me and wanted to get some pistols for it. I said, yeah.
Look at these facial expressions, you guys. He just said a 357 revolver, not a shotgun, right?
I can't remember how many I gave. I think I gave some one time. Next time I said I paid him off for the pistol. But then we started talking. Remember when Jamie Cardell moved in, was a long bathroom out. She was carrying that, and she pulled out. And he saw it. He asked where we got it. He said, where it came from. He told me to get rid of it. That's when I told her she went to the doctor. Where was it, Ken? Yeah, I think. I think that she was going to the doctor. I guess I told her to go to the river. You know, lay down through there. She did because there was too much traffic. Came back, and that's when she pulled off into the all that.
So interesting if she didn't hide it somewhere. I thought, no, I cannot do that.
She was going to take it out of the boat that had me about 20 of my property to the dirt. And she was going to dig it up and put it in there. I wish she would have. It'd be definitely sitting right there still. So,
but you pulled up on that road.
and she,
And right there in the water.
and she laid down. I know what she did. She laid down. She didn't want her prints on her. Her back off. She laid down the water and she took his brush stuff over the top of it. So she took
Why did that mean Hill to need to do it?
their body bottom. We don't know it.
And you would never let that?
Because that train has it. And I remember when I told you guys about the other guy was a junky little piece of shit 32. And I took it myself on through that in my cousin's farm. Okay, because I was afraid he'd fire his long farm. And I didn't want to keep the pills for him. So I took one. We got off the dump. I traded for them pills. I had her start carrying it because hell, I thought somebody was going to snatch her. All the little stuff was going on. I was going to her to be protected. And come to find out the son of bitches that was good that did it was hanging out in the house.
Well, I don't forget.
So now we have a 38 revolver with an interchangeable 357. And Mr. Dinsmore admits that he threw a 32 away unrelated to the Bobo case, right?
I was having trouble hearing some. I heard him talk about a 32 and I couldn't hear what he did with it.
Okay, we'll play it again.
Okay, we'll play it again. I'm surprised that they just didn't transcribe this. Okay. I heard him call
I
it
heard him call it a junkie gun.
We got off
A
the
junkie.
train. Because they train had his hands on.
Not going to change.
It doesn't give you cause.
It did not give me cause.
During the prosecution,
Sir, I said no. My answer is not going to change. No matter how much you yell at me or no matter how much you argue with me, I believe we found the murdered weapon.
And that's the manner in which you prosecuted this case, right?
I don't even understand that question. That's the manner that I prosecuted this case. So I guess I would say yes. I believe that Zach Adams kidnapped, raped, and murdered Holly Bobo. He was prosecuted for it. A jury heard days and days and days of proof, and they found him guilty. Not me.
Girl, you wild as fuck. Lady, you wild as hell. Let's go, Jennifer. Let's roll. You and me, Tennessee. You are a liar.
Your closing argument, page 2,733, line 21.
Am I supposed to find that page?
I'll read it for you. There was some discussions about the measurements of the ammunition. Marco Ross told you the exact measurements of the hole in Holly's skull as compared to the measurements of a .32 caliber. And then, bless his heart, the defense witness that came in with pictures of different calibers, I have no doubt that the way he measured them is the way he reported it, but he didn't know how to measure them. Didn't know that remove the projectile from the casing and then measurement. So the expert who testified about that gunshot wound to Holly's head said it matched my words perfectly, basically .32.
She like, this is ridiculous. This is embarrassing.
And if you look at those measurements and you remember his testimony, it excluded a .38. Excluded it. Do you remember giving that part of your closing argument?
I do not.
All right.
As I said, I don't remember my closing argument. I have never gone back and read it, and nor have I ever gone back and listened to it.
You were the attorney in this case when the post-conviction filing brought this up.
I was.
Did it jog your memory to go back to the transcript and read it?
Are you asking me whether I actually did read it? And I'm
Well, because of the filing. Because of the filing, if you want to answer the filing, I hope to God you would go and look and saw like whatever they're claiming. You're going to go and say, wait a second, that's not accurate. No way did I say that, or whatever. Like, you're going to go listen to it. She's going to sit here and say that she's never went back and listened to it, but she's responded.
not willing to admit it
Oh,
because
I'm
I told
asking you what I
Mr. Bates, I did not read it.
Okay. But you were on notice this is an issue.
Honestly, I don't remember what notice I had about various issues. There were several that stood out in my mind.
And one of them was that you misstated
No.
the diameter of a .38.
I was never worried about misstating it because you're incorrect.
Okay. Well, what is the diameter of a .38?
I am not,
Sorry, a 380 auto round.
Mr. Bates, you are wasting your time if you start asking me about various diameters.
No,
Mr. Bates, you are wasting. Who does this woman think she is? This is outrageous. Hence the title. Jennifer Nichols, outrageous malicious prosecution of Zachary Adams. I should just add in that everything that this woman does is outrageous. Okay. The only person, I mean, I want to know how many times she's had to spread her legs to get where the fuck she's gotten. Think about it. This is, in my opinion, the face of a leg spreader.
With Mr. Bates.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I know what the expert said. I know what Marco Ross said
Well,
about the defect in her head,
right.
her
But
skull.
how many hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars did the state of Tennessee have at disposal in prosecuting Zach Adams?
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea.
A lot. A lot of money.
How much?
Is that a question if the state had that much money?
Yes, it is.
I don't know how much money they had to spend on it.
All right. Did anybody say, hey, how about we buy a micrometer and measure what a 380 auto round is, like the one found next to Holly's remains?
I don't know if anybody said that or not.
Did anybody, including you, go to www.google and see what various sites said?
You know, they did it in the Richard Allen case. Let's just Google it. Let's just Google it. Okay. Let's just Google it, man. You know, www.google.com.
I don't know what anybody did.
Then
And
how did you say?
how do you not know? Dude, how can people get up here and this is the thing, is that they can get up here and say this. It's on our judges, you guys, to literally say to yourself, at one point you were an attorney before you became a judge. And this, unless you're going to lie to yourself, okay, you'd have to say like, okay, you're being ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
.38, which is the exact caliber of the bullet found by Miss Holly's remains, was excluded.
Okay. Marco Ross, who was the person who performed the autopsy the second time on Holly's remains.
I got that.
Unlike me, he measured. He knew and testified to the measurements of the defect. And he said, any caliber of gun, this level could have made the defect. Any caliber of gun larger than that could not have.
Are you familiar that a .380 round is not in size .38?
No, I'm not. I said a minute ago, I am not a ballistics expert.
Do you stand by what you said at closing argument?
Yes.
Were you in charge of the reward money getting to various witnesses?
No.
Did you have any part of that?
No.
Do you have any awareness of that?
No.
Were you prepared to prosecute Jason Autry for the death penalty?
Well, you mean instead of Zach, or like that day, or like how that?
At any time were you prepared to prosecute Jason?
We were
Autry
prepared to go forward.
and prosecute him for the death?
We were not. You don't prosecute someone for the death penalty. You prosecute someone for murder in the first degree. The jury has three choices: death penalty, life without parole, and life.
You were seeking it.
And you filed aggravating statements, correct?
Do you mean-
Aggravating circumstances to justify.
Is that aggravating factors?
Yes, sir.
Just like I don't remember. Of course, we filed one. I don't remember filing it or what date it was filed on.
This is already in the record, but we'll mark it as exhibit 122.
You recognize that filing?
I certainly recognize my signature at the end of the filing. I haven't read the filing. It says June 3rd, 2015, which makes sense.
If you could just take a moment and read it, please.
While you do that, let me correct that. This is not in this record. This is the notice of aggravated circumstances, the state versus Jason Autry's case. So it's exhibit 122, this matter.
All right, I want to read more of this. Autry stated on the morning of Bobo's disappearance, he woke up early and wanted some morphine from Adams or Austin. He was up earlier than they were, so he drove around and watched the birds at the refuge until he knew they would be awake. Audrey advised he texted Zachary Adams, but got no response. However, sometime later, Zachary Adams got word to him that he needed to see him. somehow. Audrey agreed to meet Zach Adams at Austin's house. Audrey directed us to Austin's house next. He stood at the gate to the residence and described what happened. Audrey advised that when he arrived at Austin's residence, he saw Adams's truck. It's a white Nissan in the driveway, and saw his brother standing in the doorway of the residence, Dylan. He estimated he arrived there between 9 and 9:30. Austin was yelling at everyone to leave because someone was coming over to his residence. He saw that Austin was wearing a .357 handgun in a black holster on his hip. Okay. Where did he get this information to say this? Autry stated that he was with Austin when this gun was purchased. As he walked up to the residence, Autry smelled what he recognized to be the odor of a bad meth cook. He assumed the bad cook was why Zachary Adams asked him to come to Austin's. Autry said he saw smoke coming from a burn barrel in Austin's backyard. He believes this barrel was the source of the smell. Autry approached the residence and asked Zachary Adams for a morphine pill. Autry stated he looked in the bed of Zach Adams's truck and saw a body rolled up in a multicolored blanket. He assumed the body to be that of Jojo Gaines. What? Autry returned to his vehicle where he shot up the morphine. Autry estimated he returned to the front of the residence, Austin's residence, 5 to 7 minutes later. When he walked back to the house, Autry stated he asked Zachary Adams why they killed Jojo. Autry knew that Zachary Adams and Austin wanted to kill Jojo over a morphine debt. That's why he assumed the body was his. Zachary Adams responded, "It's Holly Bobo." What? What? Zachary Adams asked Autry to help him get rid of the body. Autry did not want to discuss the details of the disposal in front of Dylan Adams or Austin, so he told Zachary Adams to pick him up at Yellow Springs Church. Autry estimated Zachary Adams picked him up at the church before 10 a.m. So he just left and was like, just come meet me at the church. Autry stated Zachary Adams picked him up at the church in his Nissan, that didn't run. Okay. And from there, they drove the following route. We drove this route via directions from Autry. From Yellow Springs Church to Yellow Springs Road, Pugh Road, Duck Farm Road, Duck Road, McLean Road, Old Highway 69, Sugar Tree School Road, Morgan Creek Road, North Morgan Creek Road, Bird Song Road, Ward Hill Road to the refuge at the river. Remember, none of this was recorded, and somebody wrote all this down like this. Autry advised as they drove, they did not have a specific destination in mind. The original plan was to bury Bobo, but they realized they did not have any shovels. While driving, they discussed how to dispose of her body. Autry stated he told Zachary Adams that the body would float if the intestines weren't cut. He said they needed to gut her. They decided to take her to the Tennessee River. Autry told Zachary Adams they were deep channels in the Tennessee River where the body could be disposed. They planned to dispose of the body in one location and gut bag in another. Autry said they did not discuss details of the abduction at this time. Autry saw that Zachary Adams had the same gun he had seen Austin with earlier. When they arrived at the river, Autry and Adams looked around the area to determine if anyone was there. Autry said at the entrance to the refuge area, they drove to the right toward the boat dock and then drove back toward the river bridge. He advised they drove beyond the bridge looking to see if anyone was there. When they realized they were alone, they drove back to the area under the river bridge, where Zachary Adams backed the Nissan truck up to the rip wrap under the bridge. Autry was allowed to exit the patrol car at this point to specifically point out the area where Zachary Adams parked and to further detail what happened. They went on this field trip, by the way. Autry showed us where the Nissan was parked and reenacted the events. He described the area as being close to the narrow trail at the water's edge. Autry stated the deepest part of the channel was along this trail. Autry was allowed to walk down this trail and point out the channel. He and Zachary Adams removed the body from the bed of the truck and laid it up the riprap. Autry stated he grabbed the blanket at her head. Zachary Adams grabbed the blanket at her feet. When Zachary Adams went back to the truck to get a knife to gut Bobo, Autry heard Bobo moan and saw her right leg move. Autry told Adams, "The bitch is still alive." Autry described Zachary Adams as being surprised that Bobo was alive. Zachary Adams retrieved the gun from the Nissan. Autry stated he did not see Austin give the gun to Adams. Autry stated that Adams was ready to shoot Bobo right then, but he slowed him down in an effort to check the roads again to make sure that they were alone. Autry stated he ran down the road looking to make sure no one else was there. And as he signaled to Adams that the road was clear, he heard gunshots, plural. As Zachary Adams shot Bobo, Autry advised they were close to the bridge, so he could have heard echoes of one shot. Immediately after the shot was fired, he heard a bass boat crank up and drive away. Autry advised they knew they were on federal land and that the authorities would come to investigate the shot being fired. They knew they needed to leave. Autry and Adams loaded Bobo's body back into the bed of the Nissan. Autry grabbed the blanket at her head. Adams grabbed the blanket at her feet. They placed her body close to the cab of the truck. Autry stated that he saw blood on the blanket and blood in the bed of the truck. He described the blood in the truck as smears, what you would see if a deer had been killed and loaded into the truck. As they left the refuge area, Adams was driving too fast. Autry told him to slow down so as they would not draw attention. Autry knew he was going to miss his usual lunch date with Scott, so he texted her, Angela, his girlfriend. Autry told Adams to get rid of the blanket. Autry asked Adams how Bobo got in the back of his truck. Adams told him the following. Natalie Bobo was trading sex to Zachary Adams for meth. Natalie had shown them photos of Bobo. Bobo had been to Adams's house. Autry stated he had never seen Bobo at Adams' home. Dylan Adams, and Austin went to Bobo's house to see if she wanted to hang out. She screamed at them and threatened to call the law, so they grabbed her. Upon leaving the river, Adams and Autry returned to Yellow Springs Church, where Autry returned to his vehicle. Bobo's body was still in the back of Zach's truck. Autry stated he saw Adams return to Austin's house. Around 2 or 2:30 p.m. that same day, Autry met up with Zach Adams, Dylan Adams, and Austin at Zach Adams' house. Autry wanted more dope and told them he was in a hurry. They had to go see Victor Dinsmore at Miss Dottie's to get the dope. The caravan drove to Dottie's, where Autry described what happened. Autry got into the Dylan Adams' truck with the others. He, Austin, and Zach Adams were in the front. Dylan Adams was in the back seat. On the way there, Austin said they should turn themselves in for what happened to Bobo. Zachary Adams said Austin raped Bobo and shot her up. Autry asked himself why they were saying these things out loud. Zachary Adams and Austin were still arguing when they pulled up to Dottie's. When they got out of the truck, Zachary Adams punched Austin, which broke his glasses and blackened his eye. Autrey believed Dottie's maid may have seen this fight. Dinsmore came to the truck and sold them the dope. Zachary Adams told Dinsmore he put his Nissan in Dinsmore's shop and he had to moor some rims to make room for the truck. They can't even write. It's move. They drove back to Zachary Adams' house, where everyone went their separate ways. Autrey stated he did not know where Bobo's body was at this time. Autrey stated 2 days later, Zachary Adams called and wanted to meet at the gas station at I-40. Autrey described this gas station as the one close to the pink thicket where he would grow dope. Autrey advised he was at the gas station when Zachary Adams pulled up with Dylan Adams. Zachary Adams got into the vehicle with Autrey. They were doing meth. Zachary Adams told Autrey that Dylan Adams could not sleep and he was running his mouth about Bobo. Zachary Adams asked Autrey to kill Dylan Adams. What? Zachary Adams told Autrey he would pay him with his house and 10 G's. Autrey told him he would think about it and then told Zachary Adams that he may kill him next. What? Sometime later, Autrey agreed to kill Dylan Adams. He called Zach Adams to see if the offer was still good. Zachary Adams said yeah. Autrey took Dylan Adams fishing with the intent of killing him while they were out on the water. While they were fishing, another boat pulled up and they talked with the fisherman. This person knew Dylan Adams' grandfather. Because of this encounter with the fisherman, Autrey did not kill Dylan Adams while they were fishing. He never got the opportunity to try again. Later, when Zachary Adams and Autrey were stealing deer cameras, they were in the woods. It was hot. So they sat down and started talking. Autrey commented to Zach Adams that we got away with it. Zach Adams told him that the original story he told of how Bobo was kidnapped was a lie. Zach Adams then told him the following account of how she was taken. Zach Adams said, we, but never clarified who all went, were going to meet Clint Bobo, Holly's brother, at his house to teach him how to cook meth. Bobo came out of the house, saw them, and threatened to call the law, so they took her. Autrey asked Adams why they did not just scare her and take her back home. Zach Adams stated they took her to Austin's grandmother's barn and raped her. She was shot up with a hot shot. Zach Adams stated he and Adams held her while Austin shot her up. Zach Adams went on to describe Bobo's condition as a limp noodle. Autrey stated he knew Zach Adams and Clint Bobo had dealt in meth before. He recounted the following. Zachary Adams and Autrey were together when Zach Adams got a call from someone wanting meth. Zach Adams asked Autrey if he had half to sell. He did, or he got it to sell. Zachary Adams and Autrey went to Johnny's bar to make the sale. Cameron Mays and someone drove up at the bar to buy the meth. Autrey knew Mays, but he did not know the passenger, although he saw the passenger. Zachary Adams sold the meth to the passenger. Autrey asked who bought the meth. Zachary Adams told him it was Clint. Autrey did not know who Clint was. However, later on, after Autrey was charged and in court on this case, he saw Clint Bobo and recognized him as the passenger in Mays' truck the night the meth was sold. Autrey saw when he made eye contact with Clint at court. Clint hung his head. Autrey said he and Austin never discussed details about what happened to Bobo. He knew that Austin was trying to record him with his cell phone, so he took Austin's phone and eventually gave it and other phones to ATF agent Kelsey. Autrey acknowledged he was facing federal charges during this time and had hoped giving Kelsey a little information would help or would keep him at bay. With regard to Dylan Adams, Autry described him as the detail guy. He went on to say that he believed Dylan Adams told law enforcement that Bobo was raped at Zach Adams' house was because he knew no evidence would be found there since it did not happen there. He surmised that Dylan Adams' statement to law enforcement was for self-preservation. Dylan Adams and Autry were riding around together. They were near a cell phone tower when when Dylan Adams told Autry that Bobo's body was dumped by the cell tower. You guys, who would ever believe this? Because this is how meth head talks, man. He told him her body was dumped on Kelly's Ridge with brush and sticks piled up on top of her. Autry knows Kelly's Ridge to be half a mile by crow's flight to where Bobo's body was found. Dylan Adams did not provide any details of Bobo's abduction. He told Autry that he had burned the clothes they wore the day of the abduction. He stated sometime after this conversation, he went to Kelly's Ridge to try and find where they put Bobo. Autry stopped by a house on Kelly's Ridge under the house or under the ruse of wanting to get fish to get back on the property to look around. The homeowner told him that the otters had gotten all the fish and that he could not fish there. Autry described the gun Zach Adams used to shoot Bobo as a revolver with a rubber type handle, possibly a 6-shot, 4 or 5 inches, and it was no Dirty Harry. Autry and Austin later sold this gun to Victor Dinsmore. Autry stated he did not come forward with this information before because he was afraid. Autry further stated he never saw Bobo again after Zach Adams dropped him off at the church. He did not dispose of any of Bobo's belongings. Autry stated he saw a pink shirt, pants, and keys with a Ford or Dodge emblem on them when they took Bobo to the Tennessee River. Dude, oh my God, this is so sick. Autry believed that Dylan Adams and Austin had a sexual relationship, and in an effort to protect Austin, what? Dylan Adams made statements that Autry participated in the rape rather than Austin. Wait, what the fuck? At the conclusion of this interview, Autry was transported back to the Riverbend prison. Nothing further. Again, the people that were listening in on this conversation that wasn't recorded, but this ridiculous account right here. Jason Wayne Autry was transported by the Tennessee Department of Corrections to Decatur County to be interviewed per an agreement between his attorneys and the state. That means this bitch. Autry was to provide details of what happened to Holly Bobo, to include details of the route he and Zachary Adams took before and after Bobo was killed. Autry and Special Agent Joe Walker rode in the back of the Decatur County Sheriff's Department patrol car. Special Agent Brent Booth and I, this Walker guy, followed behind them in a separate vehicle. Autry's attorneys, the prosecution team, and other law enforcement officers were in other vehicles that followed in the caravan. Special Agent Walker phoned Special Agent Booth and kept the speakerphone on so we could listen to the interview of Autry. He and his attorneys were aware the interview was being monitored by other agents. The interview was not recorded. What attorney would ever say, yep? No attorney would ever agree to that, except the dirty one.
You read it.
I have.
What evidence did you have to justify these of Jason Autry?
And I'm objecting to the relevance of the aggravated circumstances notice filed against the co-tenant.
All right, the objection is relevant, Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe this is relevant and ineffective assistance to counsel to have brought out to show Mr. Autry's bias, as well as whether the state on the Brady violation is part of the petition and other parts of the evidence in
I
this.
think it fits under the IAC claim, so I'll let you present this. Mr. Davis.
So what was your question?
What evidence did you have that Mr. Autry,
Okay.
for
So
instance,
number 2, Mr. Autry had one or more felonies. And I don't have it with me. I assume you have his record. We have his record. Number 5, the murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and that involved torture or serious physical abuse beyond that necessary to produce death.
let's stop there. What evidence did you have that Mr. Autry committed this crime?
You're familiar with, the premise that if you, criminal responsibility, you know that, correct?
Just answer the question.
Well,
I am.
criminal responsibility for one thing. But if he didn't do it himself, we had,
Take out criminal responsibility.
I know, because you asked me what I had. That's what I had. I'm not going to take it out
So what evidence did you have that Mr. Autry was criminally responsible for somebody else's actions?
because they were together. Everybody said they were together. Their names were mentioned immediately. Their names were mentioned with all due respect to TBI, because I have a great deal of respect for the officers who, in the end, worked this case. But they went in a direction and ignored what was right in front of their face. And if you go back and you had, you're asking me about Autry. The person I tried was Zach Adams. We had Zach Adams confessing in detail to several people, making short confessions to half a dozen others. We had a lot of proof.
Jason Autry. You had statements that later.
And I began this with they were together. Okay. So whoever ended up doing one thing or the other, they were criminally responsible for each other's actions. That's what the law says. That's not Jennifer Nichols.
So fair to say you had no evidence, in your opinion, when you filed this, that Jason Autry is the one.
I'm going to object. That's not what she's saying.
I'll let him ask a question. She can clarify this.
You have no evidence when you filed this in June 3rd, 2015, that Jason Autry was the one who raped Ms. Bobo, who murdered Ms. Bobo.
No, I'm not ever going to agree with that.
Okay, then tell me what evidence it was.
You know what? We have a fundamental problem because there are 250,000 pages. I can assure you that when you asked me earlier about the process we followed, we had to present to the DA what we had for every single aggravator that we were using. We just did. You didn't just go in there and check one. Okay. I don't remember the dates that we found out everything, but excuse me.
Go ahead.
Thank you. But we knew Holly had been kidnapped, hit right outside her back door. Her blood was spattered. We knew they got her out of there. We knew that they traveled up and down. We knew where they went. She was killed. Her remains have been found. She has unfortunately, a bullet to the back of her head. Even though we didn't believe everything that Dylan said, we had Dylan admitting that they raped her. And we did believe that. We thought he minimized his responsibility, that nobody can make you rape somebody. But I mean, we had a lot of proof. I will say this, Autry's case was probably the weakest of the three because he didn't talk. At the time, he wasn't telling people different things.
So you did believe Dylan's video until you did.
That's not what it said.
You said Dylan's statement said this, but we didn't believe it.
Right.
So
You didn't ask me what parts.
you think part of Dylan's statement was true?
Yes.
Well, earlier this morning, you didn't say part. You said I didn't believe it.
No, you didn't ask me to clarify. Nope.
I asked you the video. Did you watch the video? Yes. And I didn't believe it. Do you acknowledge that was your testimony this morning?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't say there were some things I didn't believe. You said I didn't believe the entire, you didn't believe the video.
I'm not going to play semantics. I said what I said.
You think I'm playing semantics?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I think you're playing semantics.
Do you remember?
Do you want me to put this one down now?
We can mark it if it's, yes, it's the
I mean,
next
I don't
one.
mark, but I know somebody else did.
We mark. I don't mark. I mean, who is she? Listen to this. This is something that Shug Tits wrote up. She said, motion to dismiss petitioner Adams' writ. Okay, without an evidentiary hearing. Okay. She writes, moreover, Mr. Autry's testimony was a singular piece of the state's substantial proof of the petitioner Adams' guilt. He just asked. The state presented testimony from numerous witnesses at trial who testified that petitioner Adams made incriminating admissions about his involvement with the victim's kidnapping, rape, and murder. The state also introduced multiple items of physical evidence that linked petitioner Adams to these crimes. What is she talking about? Well, petitioner Adams' admissions. Over the course of a 5-year period, Zachary Adams made numerous inculpatory statements acknowledging and confessing his involvement with the victim's disappearance, rape, and murder. The state has presented 9 separate witnesses who testified at trial concerning Adams's admission about the victim from multiple and unrelated witnesses. She's saying Victor Dinsmore. Okay. Rebecca Earp. Well, Miss Earp is Zachary Adams' former girlfriend with whom he lived with at the time of the offenses. Petitioner Adams made inculpatory statements to Miss Earp in the aftermath of the victim's disappearance. Her trial testimony. The day after the victim's disappearance, Rebecca Earp was with Zachary Adams and Shane Austin, who smirked and laughed about a news report related to the victim. Zachary Adams stated that they will never be able to find her, end quote. Zachary Adams attempted to tie Rebecca Earp up with a belt, telling her that, in quotes, he would tie me up just like he did Holly Bobo and nobody would ever see me again, end quote. Rebecca Earp overheard a conversation between Zachary Adams and his friend John Mitchell in which Zachary Adams stated, in quotes, everything was in the truck ready to go to take the Tupperware. It was a blue Tupperware thing to Birdsong, and that they said it was the remains of Holly, end quote. Victor Dinsmore. Within 2 or 3 minutes, Zach and Shane Austin were arguing and fighting, and I heard a few little spurts out of their mouth about who was going to hit it first. And I never even put it all together. Hit it like what? Like drugs. Like I'm going to hit the pipe first. That's what I would think. Who's going to hit it first? And I never even put it all together. And I told them that they couldn't do that there because this was my job and they had to go. So they loaded up and took off. Train actually kind of broke them up and they loaded up and took off. Train is a nickname. This is their proof. Carl Statler. In 2011, Carl Statler knew Zachary Adams as both lived in Parsons and were involved in the local drug scene. At trial, Mr. Statler testified about several instances when Zachary Adams made incriminating statements concerning the victim's disappearance, rape, and murder. Here it is. Mr. Statler was riding in a truck with Zachary Adams during the summer of 2011 after Holly Bobo went missing, and Adams said, in quotes, I let Shane hit it. Carl Statler understood the words hit it to mean rape. Mr. Statler was with Zachary Adams at Johnny's Bar and Grill in Parsons, Tennessee in 2011, the summer after Holly Bobo went missing, and he witnessed Zachary Adams threaten a bartender named Misty Tubbs, saying to her, I'll kill you like I did Holly Bobo. Mr. Statler was with Zachary Adams at Johnny's Bar and Grill in Parsons, Tennessee in the summer of 2011. After Holly Bobo went missing, Zachary Adams told Carl Statler that he, Zachary Adams, was responsible, saying, I did it. Jamie Darnell. Mr. Darnell was a longtime acquaintance of Zachary Adams. In July of 2012, Zachary Adams came to Mr. Darnell's home in Decatur County and made admissions about a knife in his possession. In July of 2012, Zachary Adams showed Mr. Darnell a knife that he had, and I was kind of like intimidated by it, since he was, trying to intimidate by it. I asked him to look at it, and I was checking it out and asked him how much he would take for it. He told me that if I knew what the knife had done, that I would probably be afraid of holding the knife. These are admissions of what? In quotes, I was like, does it involve what I think it does? And he just smiled and I gave it back to him, end quote. Mr. Darnell later informed Zachary Adams that Adams was not to return to his home until he had cleared his name, to which Zachary Adams responded with, in quotes, he couldn't do that. He was too far involved into it, and there was no way he could do that, end quote. This is the evidence.
142, is it 121? The file of the aggravated circumstances is exhibit 22.
One for the witness, one for the court. You recognize this document?
No.
Okay, you can review it.
Oh, wait, here we go.
While she's reviewing, this should be in this record. This is a statement of response to Zachary Adams, motion 142.
They got some confidential jail informants or like confidential, whatever. Physical evidence. Scratches on petitioner Adams's body. Chris Hill. Mr. Hill was a park ranger employed by the Trace State Park who encountered Zachary Adams during a traffic stop 8 or 9 days prior to the victim's disappearance. During this traffic stop, petitioner Adams fled on foot from the officer into a wooded area. Mr. Hill testified he had occasion to observe Zachary Adams face-to-face, body-to-body after he was arrested. Mr. Hill testified that Zachary Adams did not have any linear markings on his left arm at the time that he was apprehended. Mr. Hill testified that if he had seen bloody linear scratches on Zachary Adams, he would have absolutely taken note of it. Rebecca testified, his girlfriend, Miss Earp, whatever, testified that she observed scratches on petitioner Adams's neck on the evening of the victim's disappearance. Miss Earp testified that she saw 3 parallel scratches on petitioner Adams's neck on the evening of the victim's disappearance. These scratches were not present when he left home that morning to go scraping. Well, guess what? They didn't spend the night together. They were in a fight. These scratches were present after he returned from scraping. She described them as scratches on the right side of defendant Adams's neck, extending from the under the jawline at the ear toward the Adam's apple. Matthew Ross, FBI agent Matthew Ross, interviewed petitioner Adams at his home approximately 10 days after the victim's disappearance. During that interview, Agent Ross observed scratches on petitioner Adams's arms and legs and testified to same at trial. 8 to 9 days, arms and legs. Agent Ross noticed that he had some pretty visible scratches on his arms and knees, I think, or leg area. Agent Ross took photographs. I asked him if I could take photographs of him and the scratches, and he said yes. Zachary Adams told Agent Ross that he had gotten the scratches after he had been arrested by the police somewhere, and that he had run through the woods trying to escape and got cut up by a bunch of bushes. There is another hearing today. It starts at 2. So I'll be going to the new stuff at 2.
Does this appear to you to be a motion that a responsive pleading that the state filed in this case?
It appears to be a motion that Steve Racklin, who's one of his main functions was to respond to motions.
And paragraph 5 states
And that is his signature.
Paragraph 5, the state is now unaware of any evidence which tends to exculpate Zachary Adams of the crimes charged against him. That was the state's position as of
November 8th, 2016.
Is that correct?
And that's what's filed.
Well, is that your memory as well? That in November of 2016, the state was unaware of any evidence which exculpated Zachary Rideout.
I don't know of any today.
Okay.
Still,
This is on 1.5 speed. Let's speed her up a little bit.
At some point, do you remember any discussions about Dylan Adams testifying in the state of Tennessee?
discussions with whom?
We'll start with Mr. Maddox or Mr. Bruno.
Yes.
When were they ongoing?
No. They stopped.
When did they stop?
I don't remember the date.
Was it before or after Mr. Autry provided his proffer?
Before.
How soon after that?
I don't remember. It probably was a good while because, and the discussions did not go very far.
With Dylan's attorneys.
Correct?
Then you had discussions with Mr. Autry's attorney.
I did not have discussions with them. We put it out to all that we would talk to any of the three of them that were interested. Two were interested, two defendants. Mr. Zach Adams' attorney was never interested. Again, it's difficult to guess, but if, and you're not supposed to guess, Dylan Adams was not ever going to come off of the statement that he gave. Did not appear that way to us. It did not comport with the proof that we had. So to try him first and to put on a statement or to that you didn't believe and that you were trying to, I guess, fill in other holes, didn't appear to be the smart thing to do. I've already said Autry's was the weakest of the three. So we prepared for trial for Zach Adams. And once we made the decision, that's who we were going to try first. And Dylan Adams was not offering anything that we found to be reasonable. We got ready for trial. We were going to trial without Autry.
When do you remember discussions with Mr. Autry's attorneys regarding?
I didn't have a discussion. We put it out there that we would listen to anything. I'll tell you this. I remember not the day, but I got a phone call from Michael Scholl. I was walking around the lake at Shelby Farms. I remember who I was with, and the phone rang. It was Mr. Scholl. I answered the phone, and he said what he said. You want me to repeat it?
You can.
Okay. It's hearsay, but that's what I'm saying. You want me to say what he said?
Sure.
Okay. And he told me, and he called me before anybody else knew, that Autry wanted to talk.
Right.
And he was interested in a proffer.
And when was this?
I just said I don't remember.
Was it?
It was close in time to the proffer. I'm not ever going to be able to give you a date.
How close in time?
I-
2 weeks? 3 months?
So, don't know. Certainly wasn't months.
Okay.
We had trial coming up. I said close in time.
And-
It would have taken a few days to arrange that and get ready and get everybody in the same room.
And do you remember Mr. Autry's motion to continue that he filed and was set for hearing?
No.
Okay.
There are markings on here. Are you wanting me to pay attention to the particular markings or the brackets?
No, Your Honor. No. And Your Honor, I apologize. This was a copy I probably had and make copies of markings. I can white it out and submit
It's
it.
not bothering me. I just didn't know if you were directing my attention to this. So it's a long motion. Are you wanting me to read the whole motion?
Well, if you could just review it quickly to see if you had any memory of Mr. Scholl's motion to continue.
It is a 11 or 12 page motion. I won't be able to review it quickly. I told you I don't remember this being filed. I know that there were requests for extensions. So it looks like Mr. Scholl filed this on August the 12th of 2016. Although it's not stamp filed in the front, I'm assuming it was filed. But the copy you passed doesn't have the clerk's stamp on it.
you're familiar with Mr. Schultz.
Yes,
He's
very.
you consider him a friend.
I've never socialized with him, never gone to dinner with him, never been to his house. He's never been to mine.
Would you consider him a friend?
That's a stretch. I consider him to be somebody I respect as an attorney. He was known for being a very good attorney. He's beat me before. I beat him before. He was known to be ethical. Judges frequently ask him to accept difficult cases in both federal and state court.
So when he writes on page 3, lead counsel has to travel 200 miles one way to visit the client. Sometimes contact visits are not allowed, which makes the visit worthless.
Hang on, I'm getting to page 3. Okay.
Further, because of availability, all experts are at least 200 miles from the client. When a contact visit is made available, counsel's forced to sit in a room with the client, which is approximately 4 feet by 4 feet. An officer sits outside the door. There's no table, no place to write or spread out documents. Further, because of the nature of the facility, counsel is not permitted to take a computer. Therefore, he's unable to review many pieces of evidence with the client. When the counsel gives the client discovery, it is often seized by the authorities, much of which is not returned. You have no reason to doubt the truthfulness of that statement, correct?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
But you trust what Mr. Shaw puts in pleadings.
Of course.
All right.
I mean, as an officer of the court, he wouldn't lie to the judge.
So, what do you remember Mr. Scholl telling you, hey, I don't have a copy of the cell phone records in November of 2016? And you sending those cell records to Joe Walker to Memphis to give Mr. Scholl another copy?
Boom.
That's not quite how I remember.
Okay, well, how do you remember?
Well, I think the phone records were there and he may have had trouble opening them or he couldn't do something with them that he was wanting to do. I do remember there being phone records delivered. I couldn't tell you when. I certainly didn't remember that it was or who delivered them. And you said what date?
November 2016, a couple of weeks before the proffer, a month and a half.
That was after Mr. Hagerman had gotten on the case. And we pretty quickly had divvied up work. I was not going to be the phone person. So I would defer to Mr. Hagerman. Yeah, I mean, that was his area. There was too much for one person to do.
No reason then why the TBI said it was authorized by you.
Everything in the case would have been authorized by me.
Any reason to doubt Mr. Scholl's statement in August of 2016? It is imperative that he be granted a continuance of the upcoming trial date so as to receive adequate, competent, and effective representation and for such further relief as the court deems necessary.
Is that in this motion?
Page 12.
Okay, so your question about that is what?
Any reason to question Mr. Scholl's truthfulness in presenting that to the court? It says, hey, by April 3rd, 2017, I can't be prepared on this case.
Mr. Bates, just like in this post-conviction where people have asked for resets, it is very common for defense lawyers and prosecutors to seek to push a case back. I'm not sure anybody ever feels like they have enough time. It looks like he'd been on this a year. Whereas for the Karen and Clint and Dana Bobo, this case had been pending for years. It was the center, but for somebody like Mr. Scholl, a year is not that long for him to get up to speed.
Any reason to doubt it? First paragraph, the necessary investigation, motion filing, discovery, and defense scientific testing analysis cannot be accomplished without additional time. Counsel cannot provide competent and effective representation by April 3rd, 2017.
But you are repeatedly asking me if I believe Mr. Scholl. Ask Mr. Scholl if he was telling the truth. This motion, he wasn't asking me for a reset. I would have said no. We wanted to try the case.
Okay. The TBI team at the time of trial, I think I'm correct, the main players were Brent Booth, Joe Walker, Kathy Ferguson.
Well, there were a lot more that considered themselves to be and were main players.
Okay,
And I can't name them all for
well,
you.
fair enough.
But it's people who invested a lot of time. But in terms of the day-to-day contact that I had, those would have been the three people that I spoke to the most.
Y'all had a good working relationship. Yes,
Yes,
they had worked on the case from virtually the beginning.
I don't know when I believe Brent Booth made the scene within a couple of hours. I don't know when Special Agent Wheeler got on the case, and it's
Okay, check this out. I'm going to show you guys what I listened to last night for a second. Right here. Guys, the TBI, the lead that guy is like, I'm not going to investigate these meth heads. The reason that these 4 people were like sought after, watch this, like, holy shit.
Was a mistake.
People feel right now. The A gang is because of these people. Like, the TBIs over there, like, we're wasting our time and we're not investigating these idiots. These idiots are cracked out meth heads. Okay, they didn't abduct like Holly, Bobo.
To look back and see that we were on the right track.
The TBI was through.
They weren't. I mean, what a mess. What a mess. These people think that they got, like, yep, these 4, here we are. I mean, what? By God, wild. Wild. Damn. There she is.
It's my recollection that Kathy Ferguson got on, if not on the first day, soon.
So how did they get back out of the A gang?
Did you trust their analysis and their work product?
I don't really remember them analyzing things for me. I relied on their work product. So yes.
You think they're intelligent people?
Is that a question?
Yes.
Yes.
They were honest to you?
Is that a question?
Yes.
Yes. As far as I know.
Okay. Jason Autry testified on page 1265.
Are you done with this motion?
Yes, Your Honor, if I move
You
it.
want to move it in?
Yes, Your Honor.
Objections from the state?
No, we don't know if it's in file, but I guess the record will speak for itself.
No, this was actually in Mr. Autry's case. So it was
Right,
right.
I can't tell what it probably was filed. I can't get.
It's marked as Exhibit 5 to some other pleading. We'll make sure that that's already on the face of this document. It's going to be Exhibit 123 to this hearing. It is a motion to continue the trial set April the 3rd, 2017, in State of Tennessee versus Jason William Autry. Go ahead, Inspector.
Hey. I'll start at 1264.
Read slow if you're going to read to me.
I'll read it.
Okay.
And Mr. Autry's on the stand.
Okay.
Line 15, page 1264. You made a statement, looks like we got away with this shit. Answer, that's correct.
May I ask you, is this my questions or is it Ms. Thompson's questions? Just so I can.
Your questions.
Okay.
And you asked, what did he say? The court, I believe this was the end of the offer of proof. The court said, all right, ladies and gentlemen, as I told you the other day, this is not being offered for the truth, what he said. It's offered as follow-up response. So you shall not consider what he said for the truth of it, okay? All right. Page 32, I'm sorry, 1265. What did Zach, or how did Zach respond? Answer, he said the real reason that we were there was to show Clint how to manufacture meth. He said we got there early. She came outside screaming and raising hell, and we took her. Did you believe Jason Autry was testifying truthfully?
About what part?
That
That
was
portion.
there to make meth with Clint.
No,
Why did you present it to the jury?
because it was part of what was said. And had I not let it all go out there, as that's what it said, you'd be asking me, did you parse the statement to hide something from the jury? The jury could decide. You asked me if I thought that Clint Bobo would have taken and cooked meth at Karen Bobo and Dana Bobo's house. The answer was no. I did not think Clint was going to cook meth in his backyard at the Bobo's house.
Then why did you believe any part of this story? She's lying right now. I want to know what Clint testified to.
But you submitted it to the jury.
It wasn't my statement, Mr. Bates. Yes,
11 days ago, who's the first person you phoned on 11 days ago?
don't know.
You don't recall?
No.
How many people did you call 11?
Don't know.
How many people did you text 11 days ago?
Don't know.
Can you start from when you woke up to when you went to sleep and remember exactly where you were every part of every minute of every day on 11 days ago?
No.
The last time you went to an ATM machine.
I went last week.
You know the date?
I can figure it out by looking at my bank records.
Do you do drugs?
You're aware at 8:52, Zach and Shane.
So basically, the line of question there was just awesome. Like 11 days ago, what'd you do? Give it to me verbatim. You better not fuck up. 11 days ago, what'd you do? Where'd you go? Start from the beginning of your day to your end of day. You ask that to somebody that does drugs, like gets fucking high as a kite. Are you kidding me? Especially when you got somebody that's just like, they do the same thing every fucking day. Like, what?
I'm sorry, Zach and Jason had a phone call, correct?
Without looking at the records, I would not be able to tell you the times. What I remember is that Zach Adams was calling a lot of people, including them. Jane.
Do you have an answer to the question of where on April 13, 2011, Holly's cell phone was separated from her body?
Of course not. I have a theory.
What's your theory?
My theory is it was separated from her body before they headed to the river.
You told the
My
jury.
theory, that's based on where the phone was found and where the SIM card was found, and the fact that they being the gurus that track phones, quit picking up anything.
Okay. The state really didn't dispute the analysis of Mr. Reeves, correct?
Who's Mr. Reeves?
The defense expert at trial for the cell phones.
Wasn't my witness. What I remember about that is that Mr. Reeves did not dispute Mike Frizzell and the TBI. So I kind of look at it reverse of that. In fact, Mr. Reeves agreed with TBI's findings. I would say he was, he may have, I don't even want to use the word tweak because that makes it sound like he changed. And he didn't, but he did not agree with the main points that Mr. Hagerman was trying to make with the phone records.
And if the witness can be passed Exhibit 25.
All right, technical analysis and report, Jonathan D. Reeves.
If you can go to what's the 7th page.
With a lot of red and blue writing. Is that what you're looking at? I don't see him numbered. I just want to
I
make
don't
sure.
think.
This page,
I may put you on.
You think, let's clarify which page we're looking at.
I tried to count.
Right, Yuri?
So with this voice.
Further. Like
Well, okay, what? You send him to me. I'll show him.
it's not the 7th.
this page, if I do the one before, it'll be just the page before.
Mr. Bates, while you're there, it appears that they're not in the same order as what we have, so let's either hand her an pen or initial this page, this is what she testified about.
Oh, yeah.
Clarify,
And sir, you just want me to initial it?
just top right corner, initial place that you testified on this page.
And it begins call records and locates for 731-549-7352 and 731-733-70191.
019.
0191.
From 8:19 to 9:58.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, good.
And do you see at 8:53, there are two phone calls, Zach Adams, and one is from 731-733-2073. And another one is a 901 number.
I see Zach Adams on the left, 853, voice from, and two different numbers. Or that's, yeah, those. I don't know whose numbers they are.
Okay.
I see this, but you said, I think it's saying Zach Adams' name being on the left means it's from him, but I do not
Right.
remember the report. I see the two calls you're talking about.
And the next page to be on is Jason Autry's phone records.
So you went to the next page that says call records and locates for 731-733-0191. That page?
The one previous with
All right.
549-7352.
Right, I'm looking at a page that says call records and locates for 731-549-7352 and 731-733-2073 from 8:17 a.m. to 9:42 a.m. Is that the right page?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll initial that one.
Do you have any of these reports of the phone stuff?
And you see at 8:53, Jason Autry voice from 733-0191.
J. Autry, 853 a.m. voice from 17311733091.
Correct.
I see that.
Oh, you agree it shows the 8:52, 8:53 phone call between these two people.
Well, I didn't go back and compare.
Okay, you can. if you
Yeah,
want.
no, it's okay. I mean, the record is what it is.
Now, hey,
Do you want me to, am I going to look at something else on here?
you can put it back in the binder, or you keep it just in case.
Okay.
That's okay. And you agree that Zach Adams is at 31523 and 31522, these two cell towers.
I cannot agree with you because I don't know.
Okay. You agree the proof shows they were hanging off these two towers.
I'm looking at Jason Autry. You said the 853 is the last number where it says cell 31522. Is that a cell tower?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I read that's what it is. I didn't know that's a cell tower. I don't remember that,
What?
but I see that.
Well, all right. Do you remember the transcript that Autry talks with Zach and then comes to Shane's house? And that's where he sees everyone.
Do I remember the transcript that says that?
Remember the trial?
Are you talking about when he went to Shane's house and the burn barrel was there and Shane was wearing a gun and Holly was wrapped up in a blanket? And
That was his, that was his
I
testimony.
remember that.
All right. Page 1200. And this, did it strike you when Mr. Autry was telling with pretty good detail the times he made a phone call 6 years beforehand? How odd that was?
No. Sort of like I remember some things 8 years ago like that, not having read the transcript or reviewed any of the testimony, but I remember bits and pieces. And I remember phone calls in my life that were really important from a long time ago.
Question, line 9, page 1200. Did you have any idea what time of the morning this was? It was after 8. Okay, probably 8:40, 8:50.
Can you tell me who's asking questions and who's answering?
You were asking Jason Autry
Okay,
questions.
okay.
Somewhere in that time frame. Question, earlier you said you wanted to kill time until you could make a phone call. Answer, that's correct. How late were you wanting to wait before you started calling? I made the first call at the river. You can't get a signal. It's pretty tough to get a signal there. It's real low. When I come out of the river, I made the first phone call at approximately 8 besides Palmer, 2 and Dot. So from 8 until you actually made contact, sometime within the hour, you had called both of them more than once, correct? Hadn't got a response, and then he finally called you back. That's correct. So what you did after he told you, when I get to the, I'm busy, when I get When I get to the location, we'll contact you. I went that general way. I knew that I headed in that direction. Question, okay, I'm sorry. Nobody here but you knows in what direction you're talking about. I went in that direction. Well, I left Benton County, headed towards Decatur County down Birdsong Road. And why the Birdsong Road area? It was easiest access from where I was to get there. Plus, it would be a delay. I mean, it was just the easiest access to get there from where I was, other than going down the main road. Did you talk to him again? I did. Who? Mr. Adams. He called you, or did you call him? I believe he called me. What did he say? He said, we're at Cousins. What did that mean? That means that we're at 30 Yellow Springs Road, Shane Austin's house. Your cousin? He called him Cuz too. But that's your cousin? Correct. So did you get there? I did. How far away were you? How long did it take you to get there? Probably 20 to 30 minutes. Do you remember Mr. Autry testifying to that?
No.
This is about the timeline. This is so that your crime and all of your shit can even fit. Like, this is disgusting. Barf. Yeah.
Do you remember Mr. Autry saying when he got there, Dylan had his shirt off
When he got where?
to Shane Austin's house?
Yes.
Do you remember Mr. Autry saying when he left, Dylan was still there?
Yes.
All right. So if it's at 8:52, you add 20 to 30 minutes. That would be, the earliest would be 9:12. The latest,
8:52 plus what?
20 to 30 minutes. 8:52 is the phone call. 20 minutes to get there,
20 minutes to get where?
to Shane Austin's house.
Okay. I mean, I'm going with you, but I'm not doing the math.
Okay.
So-
Why?
Did you ever do the math?
I'm sure I did.
Okay.
Okay.
Then if it's at 9:12 to 9:22 and everybody's at Shane's house, can you explain why Holly Bobo's cell phone was still traveling south to its final ping at 9:25 by Goose Creek?
No.
You just can't explain it.
No. You have to give those times that they gave and explanations and how long it, I mean, you have to credit memories and about what time different things were happening. I don't.
You have no answer for why you told the jury Dylan was dispatched to get rid of a cell phone if it's inconsistent with Jason Autry's testimony. You have no answer right now. Correct?
I always got an answer.
What is it?
What's the question?
How did you tell the jury Dylan was driving to get rid of Holly's cell phone if the proof shows Dylan's at Shane Austin's house?
Because I don't believe what you just said.
What?
And I'm sure that's not what my theory was.
I just read to you what your witness.
You read to me a lot of things. And I got to tell you, after about 2 lines, you lost me.
What?
You read and read.
What?
Jason Autry says it took 20 to 30 minutes to get where he was from the last phone call with Zach.
Okay. Now, is this the Jason Autry that you believe or you don't believe?
You tell me.
No.
You put him on to the jury.
Yeah.
This is insanity.
How many? Did you believe Jason Autry told you the truth? Told
I
the jury
did.
the truth?
But I didn't ever think that Jason Autry was Big Ben and that his times were something that should be recorded in history.
What?
Any more than when you went through your colloquy with me asking if I remembered times 11 days ago.
It doesn't show you're a liar if you don't remember something 11 days ago, does it? Doesn't show you're falsifying an alibi, does it?
I'm not sure how I could lie when I didn't remember it. If I'd made up something and answered it, maybe I'd be lying, but I didn't. I don't understand the analysis or the analogy between that and what I said versus Jason Autry and what he said.
Oh my God.
Who in TBI told you they believe Jason Autry raped Holly Bobo?
Who at TBI?
Yes.
The first time I heard it was Rick from Dylan.
After the proffer. Who told you that Jason Autry's proffer was not true?
What?
After the proffer, who employed currently at the time by TBI told you they did not believe Jason Autry's proffer and that he also raped Holly Bobo?
I do not remember that. I can tell you, if you put all the players around a table today, the people who tried the case, the people who investigated the case, there would be differences in their theories, which is why we endeavored to put it all out there for the jury.
Is that why you filed a motion for protective order to prevent coming from an evidence the opinions of TBI officers?
What?
Opinions of TBI officers would be irrelevant. I know you know what opinion.
Wait, she just said if you put everybody around a table that everybody's theories would be different. And now she's saying that their theories and opinions are irrelevant. That is not true. That is your investigative. That's why when you say based on my training and experience, like, I mean, I cannot believe the way that this woman is. I mean, what is she doing? This is career. I mean, it should be career suicide, but I mean, she had an opportunity just to like. It's obvious why she's behaving the way she is. She is being accused of being the ringleader, you guys, of setting up this whole fucking shit show. She is being accused of it. Like, she's the boss of it. She's the one that fed all these fucking idiots their stories. Okay? So, I mean,
opinion testimony is admissible and what opinion testimony is not. I do not remember filing a protective order. Maybe I did it if I got wind that that was something that the defense sought to introduce. But I know you know the rules of evidence.
the rules of
Give
evidence.
too much credit, Ms. Nichols.
Well, I mean, assuming you know the rule about what's admissible with opinion testimony.
Isn't all investigation like your.
Is this a motion you filed?
I got two. Are they the same? Is it two copies of the?
Hopefully we're the same.
See how these prosecutors operate? How they play the fucking semantics? They disgust me. This is just disgusting.
This looks like a motion filed
Yeah.
on June the 3rd, 2015, and served on Mr. Herbison, who I think we have established represented Mr. Autry.
And is that your signature at the end on page 5?
It is, and Mr. Lapone's.
What is it? I want to know what that is.
You asked that would prevent discovery, including testimony regarding reports, memoranda, or other internal state documents made by the district attorney general or other state agents or law enforcement officers in connection with investigating or prosecuting this case.
Mhm.
The state also requests this court prohibit any discovery regarding confidential materials, mental impressions, or work product of state officials who are involved or have been involved in the investigation or prosecution of this defendant. Did you signed and filed this?
Already said that.
Okay. You want to move to mark this in next?
Objections?
Yes.
Mark it as exhibit.
I got two of them, so I'll give you two.
124. This is a state motion for protection. This is also in the Jason Autry case.
Any reason why you didn't file it also in the Zach Adams case?
Maybe I didn't think it was necessary,
I mean,
given the attorneys.
Okay.
I don't remember what led me to believe that. But I would say it probably speaks well of Mr. Adams' attorney if I didn't file it.
after Mr. Autry's plea, did a TBI officer come to you and say, I do not believe Jason Autry's proffer?
After,
After the proffer in
and
January?
you said after the plea, and I was
I'm
like,
sorry.
I was gone.
Yes.
And I've already answered that question. I said, I do not remember that happening.
Is that something you would have remembered?
I would think so.
Okay, let's see what's going on.
Why would you have remembered that?
It's a pretty big deal.
Why do you remember anything?
Why do you remember anything? Is this broad for real? Why do you remember anything? What do you mean? Why do you remember anything? You remember things that are significant. Who does she think she is to answer questions with questions? And how is the judge not saying you need to answer the question? Like, I mean, I think the judge is gonna side with Zach. Let's see here though. We are supposed to be going to court here. Let's see. Holly hearing 5. It should be starting at 2. So I'll keep an eye on when this is supposed to start. I thought it was supposed to start at 2. Why do you remember anything? I don't know. If somebody sees it at Fires Off, let me know.
You agree that reconstructing April 13th, 2011 is important to determine if a crime took place?
No, because the crime took place. You don't need to reconstruct April the 13th, 2011 to determine if a crime took place.
What?
Absolutely not.
Did you do that to the jury in closing argument?
Do what?
Reconstruct April 13th?
I may have, I don't remember.
Okay.
But that wasn't your question. You asked me whether I thought it was.
As your role of lead prosecutor against Zach Adams,
Okay.
do you think it's important to reconstruct what happened, how it happened, and where cell phone information puts various people that day?
To accomplish what?
To determine what happened to Holly.
Okay, that's a different question than you asked a minute ago. So if we start with a crime was committed against Holly,
Yes.
if we're able to agree there, then of course it's important to try and recreate what happened to Holly.
Do you acknowledge the proof or the evidence and discovery put the defendants in different cell towers between 8:26 and 8:56 a.m. April 13th, 2011?
I cannot agree with you because I do not remember.
Okay. Do you agree that that Zach, Shane, and Dylan were in Parsons that morning on April 13th, 2011?
Together? Are you asking,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
put 3 people in one question.
What? She's crazy.
I remember the evidence. Are you talking about that morning, anytime that morning?
Anytime that morning.
Okay. And what's morning? What's the cutoff?
You remember at 11:16 a.m., Zach's cell phone was pinging on tower 12572, the south tower of Parsons.
I do not remember that his phone was pinging on a particular tower. I remember that his phone showed him to be in Parsons.
Same with Shane from 11:15 to 11:52.
I don't remember the times. I remember, or the cell tower, but I remember that sometime around that time that their phone showed they were in Parsons.
Okay. And you didn't dispute their phones were with them that morning.
I don't believe I did. But remember, Mr. Bates, I wasn't a phone person.
Right.
I didn't put on phone evidence.
Now, let's comment on that a little bit.
Okay.
When you're the lawyer, you have to have experts. You rely on the experts to form the evidence to present to the trier of fact, right?
When what? When you're the lawyer?
Right.
Of course.
Okay. Now, when do you understand the idea of starting when these 3 are in Parsons and working back makes Autry's alleged route very relevant?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're looking at. You're using your hands again and I can't see. I found all of their phones and where they moved to be relevant, not just.
Okay, so then it would then be relevant if what they said, their route of travel, did not match the phone's travel. That would be relevant. That, wow, what Autry's saying he did, remember that specific route he took? If it does not match the data, there's a problem.
Just Autry's, not just Zach Adams. I don't know what you're looking at. You're using your hands again and I can't see. I found all of their phones and where they moved to be relevant, not just Autry's, not just Zach Adams, not just Dylan Adams, not just Shane Austin. I found all of their phone evidence to be, or their phone locations to be important.
So if Zach is at tower 31523 at 1049, having come back from the river with Mr. Autry, and he's in Parsons at 11:15 a.m. through afternoon, when was this light truck put it in Mr. Dinsmore's garage.
Boom.
You presented it to the jury.
I may have, and I'm telling you, I sit here today, I don't know.
What?
I don't know how many more times I can say, I don't remember. I didn't present phone proof. And Mr. Bates, I wouldn't lie to a jury.
She is going down in a blaze of glory, ladies and gentlemen. I would not lie to a jury. Well, the fuck you did. I don't care what you say. Then you're a dumbass because then you don't get it. Okay? Because I have it right here. I have the phone guy's testimony to what Zachary Adams' phone did, and then where Austin testified to his little route that he traveled. Okay. A few minutes later, I got out and walked back to the 4x4 Nissan where Zach was standing in the door. And he said, I need you to help me bury this body. And I told him, I said, God damn, I hate that y'all killed little JoJo. He said, Jason. He said, Train. He didn't say Jason. My nickname was Train. He said, Train. That's Holly Bobo. And then came on the stand was Michael Frizzell, who is the cell phone data expert. And Mr. Frizzell was a TBI special agent who testified for the state at trial as an expert in cellular telephone tracking. Mr. Frizzell's testimony and expert report were able to establish the movement and interactions of Zachary Adams, Jason Autry, and the victim on April 13, 2011. Well, by God. And then when you actually go through this humble jumble bullshit, where this becomes highly incompetent of Zachary Adams' defense attorney is that she had these reports. You have the statements of Jason saying his little rowdy poo and all this stuff. She needed to do the work, and that's what she came in to testify about, that she was just so overwhelmed that she didn't even, she was trying to figure out who these witnesses were that she didn't even, I don't know what she was doing, but one could just map it out and realize that, wait a second, where you're saying, like, the guy that was testifying, if you were to get, I want to know if they're going to call him back out to the stand today. That's who I would be calling. And I'd be like, let's talk about your report here. Were you ever provided what the Jason Autry said he did, the route that he traveled? Did Sugar Tits right here, did she ever say, hey, this is what Autry gave in his proffer. This is the route of travel that I just read you guys when I was reading all those fucking stupid ass streets. Here it is. This is what he said he did. Now, looking at his phone data, would you say he's lying? Yeah, I'd say you got a pretty big problem here, Suge Tits, Jennifer, Nichols. You got a big problem on your hands. Well, what's that? Well, none of this shit matches. You got a big problem. It's as simple as that. So it's almost like, yeah, his lawyer was ineffective as his counsel, but also your job as the prosecutor, why, like, you're going to have him testify to these phones, misleading the jury, because then you're hiding the fact from the jury that what's his name was never provided. Hey, all these streets match up. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, that's how sick this shit is. And things get so frustrating when it's just so basic that if your kid tells you that they went to Tommy's house after school, okay, and then your kid's supposed to come home and you get home from work and your kid's not there, and what would be the first thing that you do? I don't know, call Tommy's mom. Hey, and Tommy's mom's like, oh, wait, they're not at your house? I thought they went to your house after school. Oh, it looks like our kids are, fucking around on us, right? Like, that's just so obvious. That's the obvious thing. Like, you would check up on it. Like, why isn't my kid home? Well, I'm going to check up to see. He said he went here. He said he went here. I'm going to, oh. And she's telling me no. But it's like, can you imagine providing to a expert? I'm going to withhold information that is you as an expert, if you were provided, would say, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. What this person is saying does not match the phones. So, and that's just sick. Look at her.
You agree that the clockwise
Yeah.
travel of Holly and her phone showed no personal effects, no notes, no lunch boxes, no student records, no nothing. Up until where her cell phone was stagnant for 30 minutes. You would agree with that?
Do not remember. So I cannot agree.
Would you agree that the property seen consistent with a clockwise direction of travel from 9:03, 9:10, 9:25 is consistent of evidence being thrown out along that route?
I mean, I've said it 10 times. I do not remember. This is why I ask you, if there is something I can do to prepare that you want me to review, tell me.
It's my fault.
I would have reviewed it.
Now, you read the petition. As a lawyer, you read this petition. Yes?
Have you filed an amended one since I left?
What?
The ones when you were still the attorney.
I did read the ones when you were still an attorney. I don't know if that's what we're going on because you haven't asked me anything about Jennifer Thompson. I thought we were here about her representation.
Now, at what
You guys, in this, she responded. It says motion to dismiss with petitioner Adams's writ of error. She responded. This is hers, and she signed it. It's signed Jennifer S. Nichols and Christopher V. whatever Biano. Jennifer S. Nichols. And in it, she breaks down the testimony of the expert witness. So who wrote this for you if you didn't write it? Since you have no idea what the fuck we're talking about here, you fucking cunt. And it's signed 2024. You slimy fucking leg spreading hoe. You, man. The things. Let's go, girl. Let's go drink for drink. Let's get you all boozed up. I'm just so sick and tired of this shit. Sick and tired of, and she should be arrested on the spot.
point did you realize there was an ATM device held in Alabama that you felt necessary to go and obtain?
What?
Okay. To what point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I was still the attorney on the post conviction
Okay.
when I got a call from TBI that your investigator, Ms. Spirko, had served a subpoena to some bank personnel seeking this device. I don't remember when, but I remember being advised that the bank personnel had, finding her to be sketchy,
Dude, what? This cunt.
called TBI and said, what do we do?
Look at her. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, I discussed with you prior to issuing the subpoena whether you had any objection to issuing a subpoena for a DVD from that very bank.
I don't remember. If you say we did, we did.
Oh my God, she is disgusting.
Okay.
It was different. Her subpoena wanted the device,
Okay.
not, and so that's two different things. I remember discussing with you the like potential footage versus a machine.
A DVD was the first thing. You remember that?
I don't know if we discussed a DVD in particular. I remember you wanting to get like the camera footage. That's what I remember. I
And
don't
then-
remember a DVD.
And you would agree, well, first of all, at that time, well, now let's hit a pause. It's May 2024.
Well, I hadn't confirmed that. I don't remember the date
Okay.
or the time.
She's such a liar. God, you're so sick, girl. Holly Bobo's loving this, by the way. If she might actually get justice. 'Cause I would love to know what the hell y'all came across in your little investigation that you felt we need to do this. We need to train these four. She's just disgusting human.
Do you recognize put the first one as May 7th, 2024?
I'm sorry, do I recognize? I've never seen this as far as I know. So what do you want me to look at? It says Decatur County CB&S Bank Director, Security Mike Mayfield, ASAP. That one?
It's the one DVD labeled 4/13/2011.
I don't see anything about DVD. It said
It might be
record-
the second page, ma'am.
I don't have a second page, sir.
That would explain it.
Yeah.
She has a different page that was handed to me, so maybe there weren't two copies.
I see.
Both of these were supposed to go to the witness. Let's do that. You just keep what you got right now.
Okay.
So the witness has two documents.
And I'll get the court hopefully out of that. First one labeled May 7th, second one labeled May 13th.
These are both TBI subpoenas for identification of the state.
She's like, I thought we were here to talk about.
Is it your opinion you've never seen these?
I do not recall ever being shown.
Okay. Do you,
Was I aware that a subpoena had been issued? Yes. But I've never, as far as I know,
And then you went and you intercepted it.
ever seen this document. There'd be no reason for me to see this.
and this was
And then you went and intercepted it. Like, she went and intercepted this shit. I think it's on this. Oh, God. Whoa.
his wife to carry. He's sitting there one night talking to somebody, and he gets worried about where the gun has been, what gun is this?
Remember anything about an interview with Agent Trout? I'm sorry. There were 250,000 pages. And I don't know how many interviews. I don't remember all of them. It would be subjective.
Fair. And would you agree at this point that any inconsistencies, quote unquote, the closing argument is the chance to show what is the state's theory, resolving any inconsistent evidence?
No.
So if it says one thing, if you say one thing, you're okay.
Okay.
And felonies and everything in between, correct?
Yes.
Not to mention run-of-the-mill misdemeanors and felonies and everything in between, correct?
Yes. I seem to recall, doing my best here, Mr. Bates, that I'd seen it. If I didn't, I'm not trying to be deceptive. It would not have been.
53, Jason. Correct.
I see that.
All right. Oh, you agree that shows the 852, 853 phone call between these two people. Listen with Jason Autry's testimony.
I'm trying to find where we just left off. Is it?
In a recantation that she tried, or you tried, to get admitted after she knew he was high. Even ask him, are you high? This person did not need to have her hands on physical evidence. If it was something that you were going to want, there would, if it confirmed everything that you think, what was she going to do with it? Take it home and put it in her garage? And then try and introduce it at trial? the plan was, if somebody wanted it, preserve it. Just like they did 2,000 other pieces of evidence, preserve it so that whoever wants it can have it. But Katie Spirko did not need to be driving around with evidence. She's not law enforcement. She's, I don't know if she's claiming to be an investigator now or a blogger or what, but she didn't need anything evidentiary that was going to be important. We know what she did. You turned over discovery to her. She released it.
She released it.
You acknowledge now it is relevant for Zach Adams, where he was in Parsons that morning.
That was about 5 questions ago. Do I acknowledge that machinery picked up from the bank is somehow important to this? No. It didn't change a thing.
Do you remember who you watched the video from the ATM with?
No.
Do you know how to get there, like from the file path?
No.
What?
Do you remember where you were when you watched
No.
it?
Okay, we have to back up.
So we'll put the first one as May 7th, 2024.
I'm sorry. It says Decatur County CB&S Bank Director, Security Mike Mayfield. I don't see anything about DVD. It said
It might be the
record.
second page, ma'am.
I don't have a second page, sir.
That would explain.
Yeah.
She's a fucking bitch, man. Imagine her as your mother-in-law. Fucking no way.
I see.
My God. Imagine her with your her grandkids. I hope she can share a cell with Donna fucking Adelson. Her and Donna. Donna's even like, oh hell no.
These are both TBS subpoenas for identification of this day.
Is it your opinion you've never seen these?
I do not recall ever
Oh
being
my
shown.
God.
Okay. Do you,
Was I aware that a subpoena had been issued? Yes. But I've never, as far as I know, ever seen these documents. There'd be no reason for me to see this.
and this was a subpoena, the first subpoena was from Mr. Adams in the court file. The clerk issued to Mr. Mayfield for the DVD that you received a copy of, and prior to agreed, you had no objection to it.
I'm sorry. That's
I
a,
didn't understand.
I didn't understand anything you said.
I understand. You don't understand what took place between us last May regarding evidence.
You and I?
Yes.
Okay, what's this? I thought you were asking me about the subpoena.
Right. You remember when Mr. Adams filed a subpoena contacting you, I contacted you and said, do you have any objection to this subpoena?
No, I'm not objecting to Mr. Bates testifying.
What?
It's just
A
a
whole
question.
series of questions involving his actions and what he said.
If she denies it, I can't
Well, this
testify.
is a unique situation, Ms. Wyrick. Now, Judge Nichols started in the capacity that you're sitting in right
Yes,
now when this case started, so I'm going to allow questions.
Do you remember that? When I contacted you, showed you a draft of the subpoena?
Mr. Bates, if you say you did, then I bet you did.
I can't testify.
But I don't remember it. I remember talking to you. I remember calling you and getting Mr. Boyano on the phone and having a 3-way call with you after hours. I remember I was sitting in my house to tell you that TBI was going to get this, had issued a subpoena. Let me finish. This is what I remember about it. And you were dismayed. And I said, look, you can have it. We want to preserve it. We'll keep chain of custody. We're going to look at it. You can have it. And that's what happened.
You don't remember it was me who reached out to you and said, were you ever going to tell me that you issued a subpoena to the very ATM machine to obtain it directly without my knowledge?
You can get as loud as you want.
Oh my
Who called each
God.
other first?
I don't remember. I thought I called. If you say you called, I really don't care. I just know that what I told you and we followed through with it. And I know why I was concerned that a piece of like physical evidence could be turned over to the person that you sent to pick it up.
There had been no subpoena for the machine yet.
Okay.
And your subpoena told Mr. Mayfield, don't say anything about it.
I didn't have a subpoena.
What?
I didn't issue a subpoena.
Did you tell Ms. Ferguson to?
I don't tell Miss Ferguson to do anything.
Did you instruct her?
I don't instruct Miss Ferguson to do anything. We had a discussion about how to handle this.
Would you agree it's potentially exculpatory evidence?
No.
At this
Are
time,
you talking about the evidence that they already had? Are you talking about the footage that was in the discovery?
Did you know it existed?
Yes.
When did you know it existed?
I don't know. It would not, we knew they were in, the fact that they were in Parsons anywhere. I'm sorry, I'm still talking, Mr. Bates. You asked me a question.
You said we knew, and then you stopped. The
No, you
citizen-
interrupted me, so I stopped.
We knew they were in Parsons, correct?
Is it my time?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You knew Shane Austin's bank records showed an ATM withdrawal.
Don't remember that.
Do you recall an IR for his judicially subpoenaed bank records?
No.
Do you recall an IR where Joe William Walker said, this transaction is not covered by our videos?
No.
All right. Then what made you look at this video?
Yeah.
You talking about when I was putting the case together for trial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at a bunch of videos.
Did you look
I'll-
through this?
I'm still talking.
I apologize.
I looked at a lot of videos. There were there were a lot. I know that this particular video, I mean, they went there because, you know, there were cameras trying to see what it caught. It didn't show a person. It didn't show, I don't think you can make any distinction about the truck.
What?
We knew they were in Parsons. So the fact, if it was them at the bank in Parsons, I wouldn't have been surprised.
So do you, prior to trial in 2017, do you remember seeing the video of the Silverado on the ATM at 1112?
I don't remember if it was the video or if there was a still shot somewhere. And
How would you have a still shot of
there
it?
was a still shot,
bitch.
but I,
No.
because that's what's going to come
Let me
into
tell
my.
you something about
Prior to the
But
2000
let me finish.
in Sheldon Jeter Jr.'s fucking discovery, okay? No. And in Davon Cox's discovery, actually it's Davon Cox's, you have to physically go and ask them to start producing this shit. If you want still images of something, you have to specifically say what timestamp, what you're looking for, yep. After you were to go through something, if you view it, then you would tell them, hey, can you get me a still image of timestamp blah blah blah? Hey, I want all the still timestamps from this during this hour. She is so full of shit. It's not even funny. The police would have to have done that. They don't do that. There is no such thing as what do you mean the still images? You think that there's another get bent, bitch. Especially that day and age. What, December or what, 2017? Yeah. Girl,
I could no more have told you if it was a Silverado or anything else. I remember
these people
I
just
think
think do this
there
without
was a
being
truck
subpoenaed.
at the ATM
Do
machine.
it.
And you saw it in 2007, prior to the trial in September 2017? Or was it after?
Well, there was no after until the post conviction was filed. I was gone, so I didn't. So if it wasn't before, it would have been after you. I seem to recall doing my best here, Mr. Bates, that I'd seen it. If I didn't, I'm not trying to be deceptive. It would not have been astonishing to me if there had been proof it was them. We knew they were in Parsons.
Then why go get it?
Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So you hired a pseudo investigator / forensic psychologist / other thing. I shouldn't. Does she still have her license? Because I know they were investigating. She intimidated a witness, Miss Britt. I don't remember her first name, who contacted TBI and advised that she'd been threatened.
What?
This is the same person who purchased domain names, my name, my election names, that you connected them to your client's website. So that if somebody looks me up
They went to the website.
and missed my actual, but it says Jennifer Nichols, judge, go straight to the domain name. I listened and listened and listened
That's good
to
marketing.
this person speak on jail calls. I know that she wormed her way into a federal holding facility by using her credentials, going in, knowing that a person was represented. You and I discussed this a lot, recording him in a recantation that she tried, or you tried, to get admitted after she knew he was high, even asked him, "Are you high?"
What?
This person did not need to have her hands on physical evidence. If it was something that you were going to want, there would, if it confirmed everything that you think, what was she going to do with it? Take it home and put it in her garage
Yep.
and then try and introduce it at trial? The plan was, if somebody wanted it, preserve it. Just like they did 2,000 other pieces of evidence, preserve it so that whoever wants it can have it. But Katie Spirko did not need to be driving around with evidence. She's not law enforcement. She's, I don't know if she's claiming to be an investigator now or a blogger or what, but she didn't need anything evidentiary that was going to be important. We know what she did. You turned over discovery to her. She released it.
You acknowledge now it is relevant for Zach Adams, where he was in Parsons that morning.
That was about 5 questions ago. Do I acknowledge that machinery picked up from the bank is somehow important to this? No.
Wow. You're a lot. I mean, you just
It
lied.
didn't change a thing.
It didn't change a thing.
Do
Why?
you remember who you watched the video from the ATM with?
No.
Do you know how to get there, like from the file path?
No.
Do you remember where you were when you watched
No.
it?
What? You just watched it.
So if I'm understanding you, you don't dispute that it's consistent with the evidence as you understand it, that Zach was in that vehicle at the ATM at this time.
Oh, I do dispute it because I don't know that to be true. I don't know who was in the vehicle.
But you do know Zach's cell phone was in Parsons.
That's my belief. His
Hey.
cell phone was. And we
Hey.
thought they were.
Okay. Well, I hear what I've heard in the past. Are you saying Zach didn't have his cell phone in Parsons that morning?
I'm not saying that.
Okay. So you acknowledge Zach was in Parsons that morning?
Zach's cell phone was in Parsons. We believe that he was either with it or close to it. I don't know if somebody else used it. I have no reason to believe that he was separated from it.
Okay.
Mr. Bates,
I'm done.
it says 2 documents that she had never seen before. These are the TBI subpoenas.
Yes, Your Honor. They were part of the motion for sanctions at the beginning of the case.
Objections to them being entered.
Yes, you can identify.
Okay. Then they're part of the record already. They need to be referenced in some other fashion. So we'll pass those back to Mr. Bates.
Okay. So my question
Is that the one that you made ID? Yes.
I was gonna make it 125, so I didn't know that I ever did.
You said that.
Whether it's not going to be.
I don't know. I have no idea.
There is no 125 as of yet.
Now, this one,
Well, I guess she's testified about it. We need to make it for identification on.
Yes.
Objections, I think that's-
No, that's fine. I'm sorry. I'm making a face at your honor because my exhibit list is off. Your honor's on 125.
Is that correct? No,
Whichever one, the last document was marked for identification.
125. The 2
I'll get-
TBI.
I'll get reconciled later, but these are going to be 2 different exhibits.
Just making collective exhibit for identification on.
Thank you.
You've got 4 pages there. Let's see what they are.
did you take the picture?
I need
Yeah.
to come back.
You made it. Sorry. Let's leave this here.
okay.
That's right. Right.
All right, let's take a break on cross.
Okay. So now it's going to be cross. But here with these phones,
And the gang unit, correct?
I did.
all right, something interesting. Speaking about phones and the Idaho 4 case. All right, so I have this map that begins at 8 o'clock. Bobo residence. Cell phone departs near 8 a.m. And it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just has its path. And it's showing cell phone at 8:11 a.m. Approximate location of cell phone at 8:11 a.m. Reading off of 12 the tower 1253 section 1 approximate, and then they go to cell phone tower, and then they go 8:16 approximate cell phone at this time, 1096 section 2, then the direction of travel in area of 1096, but it's traveling. It says an area for 30 minutes, reading CR section 1, so it's up by. So that's what this map shows. However, when their person, the state's person, testified to the phones, he conveniently testifies and says the victim's phone on April 13th, 2011, the victim's phone number started utilizing towers to the north of her residence at 8:17 a.m. and 8:26 a.m. I'm just shocked that you would start at 8 a.m. and saying like that it was home. I would just want to make sure that it was. I'm curious what time it was on, blah, blah, whatever. The phone then utilized a tower to the east at 9:06 a.m. AT&T provided 3 locations for the phone via latitude and uncertainty, showing the phone in the same general geographic areas from 8:57 a.m. to 9:10. These locations are consistent with being in the same general geographic area as telephone numbers Jason Autry, okay, and Zachary Adams at the same times. And that's between 8:57 a.m. to 9:10 a.m. AT&T provided a final approximate location for telephone number in the general geographic area as the victim residence and where the phone and SIM card were located. It's like, wait, what? So, again, this is about the victim's phone. And that last part is AT&T provided a final approximate location for telephone number. Just make sure that that's her number. Yeah. And it's saying that that approximate location for her telephone number is in the general geographic area as the victim residence and where the phone and SIM card were located. Doesn't that say, wait, are you saying that this phone went back to the Bobo residence? I mean, what? Because it was like heading back, and they say that at 9:10 a.m. Yeah, it's just making like this loop. It's like literally a loop. But it stops. So Creek Gooch Road, location of cell phone at 9:25 a.m. is at Creek Gooch Road, 9:25 a.m. And it's Creek location of lunchbox and notebook. And then it's just like done. Now Zachary Adams's phone. No network activity was noted for target phone on April 13th between the times of 4:58 a.m. and 8:19 a.m. So it's like his phone was either off, and then turned on at 8:19. Where the fuck is... Okay, so they said on April 13th, 2011, the target phone, Zachary Adams' phone, consistently utilized the AT&T tower located at 50 Cox Road, Holiday, Tennessee, which is near the I-40 Highway 641 intersection, throughout the day, with 2 exceptions. The first exception occurred from approximately 9:50 a.m. to 10:37 a.m. on April 13th, 2011, when this target phone utilized the AT&T tower located at the Birdsong Road in the I-40 intersection near the Tennessee River, which is totally inconsistent with her phone. The second exception occurred when this target phone utilized an AT&T tower located in Parsons, Tennessee, which is south of I-40 Highway 641 intersection at approximately 11:16 a.m. through approximately 12:18 a.m. And remember, that's big because they still have the body. Okay. And they didn't put her anywhere yet. When did they go to like the river and do all of this crazy shit? At approximately 12:35 p.m. Now, this is why this is important, is because between 11:16 a.m. through 12:18 p.m. while they're in Parsons, they're actually at an ATM getting money, which blows up this whole story of Zachary Adams going with this fucking douche down to go put a bullet in the head of Holly Bobo by the Tennessee River. You understand? I mean, it's just so it's this map is just so obvious of like anybody that was to look at this. And so all the expert did was testify. That's why I would love to. We got to go watch his testimony and the questions and how they were presented to this expert, because I have a feeling there's no way that he would have testified. Yeah, I'm just testifying to the movements of this phone, these phones, right? But I got to know if the questions were ever posed, like, were you provided the statements? Because then all it says is that they go to Jason Autry's phone. And it says on the morning of April 13th, 2011, the target phone, which is his phone number, utilized an AT&T tower in Camden, Tennessee area approximately at 6:50 a.m. This target phone began utilizing the AT&T tower located at 50 Cox Road, Holiday, Tennessee, which is south of Camden, Tennessee, at approximately 8:19 a.m. Where it remained until approximately 8:55 a.m. And that blows up the movements of her cell phone, because they cannot get the next network. It occurred at approximately 9:42 a.m., which AT&T tower located at Birds Road. So they're like saying that they're together at 9:42. Near the Tennessee River was utilized until approximately 10:36 a.m. 9:42 a.m. to 10:36 a.m. Well, that's not possible. To where Holly Bobo's phone was at 9:25 a.m. is nowhere near there. The next activity occurred at approximately 10:39 a.m. and again at approximately 10:48 a.m., in which the AT&T tower located at 50 Cox Road, Holiday, Tennessee, was utilized. And it's not even putting them together, because he went to Parsons. This is sick. This is absolutely so disgusting. I mean, this is unbelievable. But I don't think that this expert, the state's expert, knew the statements of anybody. All he was testifying to is the movements. And I want to know how she created it so that the jury wouldn't be like, how do we not figure this out on our own to see, okay, guys, this timeline? But then I just don't think the defense did anything worth a damn, because she's just fucking mind blown.
Thank you. Judge Nichols, when did you start in the district attorney's office in Shelby County?
1991.
And in your course of years there, you presided over several units within the district attorney's office. You headed the gang unit, correct?
I did.
You headed the special victims unit, correct?
I did.
In your time in Shelby County, how many jury trials did you handle?
Well, I also headed the original child abuse and child homicide unit.
Yes, I'm sorry. And
That's
in
the
my
first
mind, I
special unit.
lumped that in under SVU, but for a time it was two different things.
She remembers that, huh?
Not to mention run-of-the-mill misdemeanors and felonies and everything in between, correct?
Yes,
You worked for many years in the major violators unit.
I did.
In the course of your prosecution career in Shelby County, did you make charging decisions
Yes,
daily?
yes.
How many trials did you handle?
About 200.
And again, everything from run
Jury trials.
And every single one of them should be fucking relooked at.
I
Yes.
didn't count the trials.
No, but jury trials, 200. Anything from run-of-the-mill misdemeanor on up to death penalty cases.
Very few misdemeanors, but yes,
And everything in between.
yes.
When you were assigned and asked to handle the Bobo case. Had you handled death penalty cases before?
Yes.
Any idea how many?
I don't know how many I handled. I know how many death penalty verdicts I got.
All right. And how many is that?
8 men, 11 murders.
All right.
Because one of them killed 3 people and one of them killed 2 people.
All right.
Oh, man.
What was different about the Bobo case?
Well, every one of them was different. The difference in each of those cases, I was on it from the beginning, from the time someone was murdered until the trial was complete. When you assigned me this case, we were 4 years down the road. We were on our second elected district attorney. The case at that time was being handled by General Stowe, who had never had a trial, much less a murder trial.
All right.
Very intelligent person, but had never had a trial. I had so much catch up to do.
How big was the file, if you know, when you first came on this case?
I remember being told that it was close to 4 terabytes, which meant nothing to me. And then they would tell me it was like 250,000 pieces of paper.
Dude, listen to how they're testifying. And Ann Taylor's over here like, you gave us like 60 terabits.
There were over 3,000 investigative reports. At that time, we started printing them. I had 30 5-inch, those big ones, 5-inch binders. And I'm not sure we got through them. So paper-wise, it was certainly more to get through. That was different.
As you worked through the case and worked with your prosecution team and the defense team, at some point, a decision was made to give the defense attorneys everything. Every document, everything that the state of Tennessee had.
I made that decision.
All right. You remember when you made that decision? Or
Early.
What point?
I don't remember the time. Early.
And was part of that decision made because of the exculpatory information surrounding Terry Britt, or the some other dude did it? The investigation into Terry Britt could be viewed as, was that part of what contributed to that decision?
Of course. The other part was coming on when I did, several years down the road, I could not verify what had been turned over and what had not. So we went back to the beginning.
Shook the slate clean.
Literally went to the beginning. And a person was hired to download and copy so that I knew that the defense had everything that the state had.
And in this case, was it unusual that they had a mirror image of what you had? In other words, you didn't change the formats or change what anything looked like. You just gave them everything you had. And as things came in, they got a duplicate copy of it, correct?
That's correct.
Was it unusual for defense attorneys to ask for copies of things that they already been given and then ask for another copy of it?
Only one attorney did that.
All right. And who was that?
Jennifer Thompson.
Okay. But if another attorney, well, like Mr. Scholl with the phone records, asking for those.
Right. He had them wanted a different form or something.
All right. And when those requests were made, they were granted.
Of course. I thought you meant like routinely asked.
I'm
Other
sorry.
people asked. That was something that was more than one time.
All right. Well, let's talk about the routinely. When you came on the case, was Ms. Thompson on the case?
Yes.
All right.
Because she filed a motion seeking to vacate my appointment.
Okay.
And that was soon after the appointment.
All right. And she had been hired by the defendant and then later appointed by Judge McGinley. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then at some point she brings on Jim Simmons and Jerry Gonzalez and a team of experts. How many court appearances would you say you made on this case?
I have no idea.
Was she at every one of them?
Yes.
In between those court appearances, did you have interaction with her?
Yes, some.
All right. Did you set up discovery reviews?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that. More than one?
There was discovery kept. The vast amount of it was at TBI headquarters in Nashville. There was a fair amount at the TBI office in Jackson. And then there were multiple it was either 4 cars and a truck or 4 trucks and a car and 2 boats that were also at different locations. And I arranged discovery review days for each of those. And the process was all of the evidence would be pulled out. In the case of the discovery, the evidence at TBI headquarters in Nashville, they had to use an entire bay, rows and rows and rows of bags. And TBI had an agent that would take the first bag. Their job was to open it. The items were displayed out of the bag. The lawyers had the opportunity to touch, smell, feel, photograph every piece of evidence.
Which lawyers were there?
Well, the one in Nashville, they were all there. And that was all being lawyers for all 3 defendants were there.
All right. So Ms. Thompson.
And that was the biggest one. With the exception of Ms. Thompson, they generally sat behind and watched the evidence being pulled out. And 1 or 2 times they would get up. Ms. Thompson stood at the table, took her time, which she should have, and looked at every single piece of evidence as it was opened, photographed many of them, and then the evidence would be passed to the next special agent who would repackage it, seal it, and sign it. And then that one went back, and they went to the next bag.
And that process that Ms. Thompson followed, did she continue that until every bit of evidence had been viewed to her satisfaction?
Yes.
Did any of the other defense attorneys perform that thorough review?
No.
How long did that take?
I don't remember how many days. I know that a couple of other defense attorneys just decided they weren't going to come to the, one of them at least.
They were frustrated at how slow it was going.
It was slow, but no one rushed. Every bag was opened. Everything in every bag, which was sometimes multiple other bags, were opened and displayed.
Would you say that by the time the trial rolled around, or when did you first realize how familiar Ms. Thompson was with this voluminous case file?
I don't remember when I first knew that. It became clear early with the paper discovery that she was going through the hours with a fine-tooth comb. And if something was mentioned in the IR, such as another interview or a piece of evidence or a phone call that was somewhere, she picked up on every single one of them. And she would make a list of what she didn't have there because it might not have been attached to the IR. And she would provide the list and we would provide the evidence, whether it was here's another copy or look here, because Kathy Ferguson was known as the trapper keeper and she seemed to know where everything was. So we got the list and sometimes it would be long, sometimes it would be short, but there were multiple lists. And she's the only one out of all the lawyers that was going through it like that.
Did she show up at every court appearance?
Yes.
Was she engaged in the hearings that were conducted in front of the judge?
Yes,
Did she file substantive motions?
she did
Were they heard by the judge?
every time.
Do you recall any situation in which she asked for something from Judge McGinley besides a continuance or something that was not based in the law that wasn't granted to her in terms of resources, extra help, extra hands?
No,
Did she seem to have a strategy, a defense?
from the beginning.
Which was what?
And had you ever had a case in your years of experience before this in which the lead investigative agency had a case agent who believed strongly in the guilt of one particular person to the exclusion of any and all other suspects?
I'd never had that happen.
Had you ever had a case before this in which a defense attorney called to the stand a TBI agent or any other law enforcement agency to say, I think somebody else did this besides the people on trial here?
No, I had one other case where I had to be recused as the prosecutor because a police officer said something to me that was Brady. I immediately let the defense know. So I was recused in the event they wanted to put that evidence on. So it's a little different, but that was a case involving a police officer.
Yes. But any other case in your career in which TBI and federal agencies felt that someone other than the person indicted was actually the person responsible for the crime?
I don't remember that I've ever had that.
Terry Britt,
He was the strategy.
when you came on the case, had his house already been wiretapped?
Yes,
Right. So you had all of that information to digest.
yes,
Did you do that?
yes,
Did you look through that complete voluminous investigation into Terry Britt?
yes.
Did you ever contemplate, maybe he is good for this. Maybe I do need to present this to a grand jury.
Terry Britt would have been an easy person, dependent on. There was no proof.
What would you have had a case agent take to the grand jury?
There was nothing to take. There was nothing to take.
How long? Well, let me ask you this. Were there negotiations between the state and the defense about settlement in these cases for these defendants, for Zach Adams, for Dylan Adams, for Jason Autry?
Never with Zach Adams attorneys, because from the beginning, no, never with Jennifer Thompson.
Okay. Clarify what you mean.
She was adamant that he was innocent, and she never changed her mind. She gave up her law practice to only work on one case for a very long time.
She was relentless. Is that a word to
Yes,
use?
yes.
What about the attorneys for, or Mr. Maddox, who represented Dylan Adams? Did you have conversations with him about
Did.
settlement?
Did. And as I said during my direct, it didn't go very far because the statement he gave was going to be his statement, and there were too many holes and things that didn't match what we knew.
Mhm.
And so those talks stopped. With respect to Mr. Autry, I would say Michael Scholl and he and Bruno and Max, they all had a lot of experience. He kept it closer to the vest, whether any discussions, whether we were going to talk. He came on it, after I was on it, and I was not surprised that he was in the mode of getting up to speed. He's somebody that is always going to consider the options. I had seen him do that in other cases. There was never a situation where he said, my client is not going to cooperate. And that didn't happen. And we kept moving forward.
Was the first time you met Jason Autry at the proffer, other than seeing him in court?
Yes.
And that proffer took place in Shelby County or somewhere else?
Shelby County.
All right. You'd interviewed co-defendants before that time.
Yes.
How's a proffer different from a co-defendant interview?
In a proffer, the state has evidence. You're notified that somebody wants to talk to you. Their attorney is not, at least in my experience, not leading it. It's basically, like push a button.
Who asked the questions?
I can't remember whether it's Mr. Scholl. I don't remember whether it's Paul or myself.
All right. And did you have all of the discovery in the room with you when you're meeting with Mr. Autry?
No,
Did Mr. Scholl bring binders of information
No,
with him?
no.
Did he have a laptop that he pulled up
No.
terabytes of information
No.
on?
it's sitting around a conference room table. I remember where I was sitting. I remember where Mr. Autry was sitting and him talking. And
You remember that, but she doesn't remember what happened in May.
one reason I don't generally take notes or didn't in proffers is because you're watching them, you're listening. They need to know that you are laser focused. By that time, you've got a handle on the facts. It's not a situation where you are confronting, arguing with, anything like that. You're listening. And the best way to do that is to keep eyes up and engaged.
And you're assessing that individual's credibility.
Yes.
How are they going to play in front of a jury?
Yes.
What is this going to look like?
Yes.
How long did that proffer take, the first interaction?
I don't remember. It was not short. Neither was it abnormally long. I mean, it would be a guess. If I gave you a time, I'd be totally guessing.
Had you ever had a situation in your years of experience in which a co-defendant was trying to get on Team America, but was not being forthcoming with you?
Many.
Wanted to be on Team America, but just couldn't quite seem to get over that honesty hurdle.
Many.
How do you assess those individuals? How do you narrow in and figure that out?
Well, you've got your evidence, but on top of that, you're listening to them. You're looking at them. I mean, just like you judge the credibility of anybody who testifies or anybody before you. I mean, we all do it every day, all day. You listen to somebody, they are judging your credibility as they speak.
Oh God, she's such a fucking cunt. I'm gonna read something that's actually worth a damn. Okay, I wanted to know more about this ATM. So in this filed motion, Mr. Zach Adams was with co-defendants Mr. Shane Austin and Mr. Dylan Adams withdrawing money from the drive-through ATM at the Community South Bank, now CB&S Bank in Parsons, Tennessee, at the time of the victim's abduction on April 13th, 2011, as pled in the original post-conviction petition. On October 18th, 2016, so that would be like before trial started, counsel for Mr. Adams issued a subpoena on the bank in question, and the bank responded that no ATM recordings could be located. What? I want to know if she had a fucking hand in that shit. His original defense attorney on October 18th, 2016, counsel for Mr. Adams issued a subpoena on the bank in question, and the bank represented that the ATM could not be located. The recordings. The only documentation provided responsive to the subpoena were bank statements reflective of the date, but with no timestamps. This bank statement did, however, confirm a $120 ATM withdrawal made that day from Shane Austin's account. In addition to purchases at every other stop corroborating Mr. Adams' alibi, as detailed in the timetable below. Upon receipt of this information, counsel, because they're going for that ineffective assistance of counsel, counsel failed to make any further inquiry or effort to obtain / recover the video ATM footage evidence that could exonerate their client. Further, counsel for Mr. Adams neither introduced this testimony nor offered into evidence any of the bank records corroborating this alibi. Moreover, upon information and belief, the former security manager at Community South Bank, Mr. Jason Baucom, had offered to provide security footage to the TBI years before issuance of the subpoena, depicting defendant Mr. Zach Adams backing Mr. Dylan Adams' 2006 Chevy Silverado pickup into the ATM drive-thru with Mr. Shane Austin sitting in the passenger seat, accessing the ATM to withdraw money during the time of the abduction. However, this footage was either never obtained by TBI, or if it was, the same was never provided to the defense, or the nature of it was never understood by all involved. This is a standalone claim of actual innocence pursuant to Dellinger v. State that has not been litigated in a prior proceeding because it was not introduced at trial. That Zach Adams was on his grandmother's computer during the operative time frame on April 13th, 2011. This was pled in the original post-conviction petition. However, the petitioner requests that this court consider this fact both in the ineffective assistance of counsel claim and as a standalone claim of actual innocence pursuant to Dellinger. This standalone claim of actual innocence has not been brought in a prior proceeding, as it serves as a basis for Mr. Adams' attorney's deficient performance. Defendant Zach Adams provided the following alibi for his whereabouts and activities on the day of the victim's abduction. With numbers corresponding to the table below, Mr. Zach Adams woke up at approximately 7:30 a.m. and received a call from co-defendant Shane Austin informing Mr. Adams that Mr. Austin had money to purchase Xanax and requesting Mr. Adams transport Mr. Austin to make said purchase so that they could engage in recreational drug use together. Now, this is what's interesting. Who the fuck? Why is the phone guy saying that Zachary Adams' phone, no activity was noted for target phone on April 13, 2011 between the times of 4:58 a.m. and 8:19 a.m.? I just think that that's not needed. It's making it seem like that it's not responding to the network. But here, if you're receiving a call at 7:30 a.m., I would definitely say that your phone is in use. I would have argued, I would have objected to that being in a expert's fucking report. Mr. Adams. Oh, number one, Mr. Adams did not have access to his vehicle at the time, as his grandfather had taken it from him the week prior to. Two, Mr. Adams asked his brother, Mr. Dylan Adams, to accompany them so that they could use Mr. Dylan Adams' vehicle. Mr. Zach Adams walked over to his grandfather's house where his brother lived and signed into his Facebook account from his grandparents' home while waiting for his brother to get ready. This is so sick, you guys. Like, this is why he testified. He's like, I'm the only person that had access to my Facebook. I'm the only person that would get on my Facebook. I was using my my grandmother's computer when I accessed my Facebook account. The Adams brothers picked up Shane Austin at his residence. Then the three men went to the Shell service station off of Interstate in Holiday, Tennessee, to put $5 worth of gas in Dylan's truck so that they could get to Parsons where gas was less expensive and fill up the tank there. Dude, people do that shit all the time. While getting gas at this Shell station, Zach Adams observed 5 unmarked SUVs appearing to be TBI agents driving at a high speed towards the Parsons Darton area, which he estimated to be driving 100 miles per hour. The 3 defendants next pulled into the Community South Bank, now the CB&S Bank, through the back entrance off Long Drive, backed into the ATM so that the passenger window was facing the ATM kiosk. 6, and headed back through the Long Drive exit towards the Delta Shell service station in Parsons to fill the remainder of their tank. While at the station, Mr. Zach Adams observed Decatur County Sheriff Deputy Tony Weber. So Mr. Adams asked Mr. Austin to go in to the gas station and pay for the gas, as Mr. Adams wished to avoid Mr. Weber due to a recent negative interaction with Mr. Weber. From there, the 3 defendants went to the rented home of Miss Gay White, a local drug dealer from whom Mr. Austin would purchase Xanax. At the time, he didn't know who the person was and wasn't allowed to go in. I remember that. But now they're outing her. Miss Gay White, come on down, girl. You that drug dealer. You guys, do you know that Holly Bobo's mom lied and said that Holly was 17 in order to put out an Amber Alert? I always thought it was weird. I don't care. I have no problem saying it. I just think everything surrounding this. This is somebody that knew their family's routine, would know that the mom goes to work at this time, that the dad goes to work at this time. And then here the brothers, getting up and he's like, what the hell's going on? And then he's like, oh, sees what he sees. But he doesn't wake up because of that. He wakes up because the dog is barking. And I'm thinking, wait, there's a dog involved? Like, was the dog barking outside, inside? How is usually a dog will like make somebody think twice before they're going to come up? Like, where was the dog at? Everybody like skips over this, like very, like, I just want to know where the dog was. And then it's giving me Idaho 4 vibes again with a dog barking. But the mom's just like, no, that doesn't sound right. Get out there and shoot the man. Like, get out there and shoot him. What? Like, that's pretty like, I mean, and then he's like, you want me to shoot Drew? You want me to shoot Drew? And what? And then she hangs up with him versus like, I would be like, get your ass out there. Like, what do you mean? Like, go out there and see what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? Just something's not right. Get out there and shoot him. I would just love to know, like, was there other stuff that was going on that you would have that knee-jerk reaction to say that something isn't right and you need to get out there and shoot him? Or it's like one of these things for me, like the John Benet Ramsey case. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Then they went to Sonic and ordered food at the drive-thru. You guys, all of this stuff can be corroborated, okay? That they went and got drugs from this Miss Gay White, and they're just driving around with a dead body in the back of the car or the truck. Then they went to Sonic and ordered food at the drive-thru. Yeah, again, just driving through. And next, they went to Joe's Video and Tanning, where Mr. Zach Adams' girlfriend Rebecca Arp was working. Mr. Adams and Miss Arp got into an altercation during this visit, prompting someone to call the police on Mr. Adams. What? Isn't this wild? But no officers responded, presumably because all available law enforcement was looking for the victim at this time. As depicted below in the table, defendant's alibi throughout the time of the victim's abduction was corroborated through multiple evidence sources, and counsel failed to adequately convey this critical data, which if effectively presented, would have shown it had been impossible for Mr. Adams to have committed the crimes for which he was charged and ultimately convicted of. This is how I know Sheldon Jeter's coming home. Because his attorneys, there was no discovery in the case, and his attorneys didn't ask for any discovery. Yeah, that's right. They did absolutely nothing. Speaking of which, Sheldon Jeter Jr. has Scott Roeder on his case. Boom, bitch. I told you that crime scene was staged. They can all suck it. Looking at this lovely table, it says table, Zach Adams' alibi on April 13th, 2021. I mean, this table is just, here, I'll use Hector. It's just way better than listening to this broad, like, lie. Let's see. If you look at your screen, you'll see this table. Shane Austin contacts Zach Adams regarding plans to purchase Xanax from local drug. Collaborating evidence not called by defense or ineffective presented at trial. Shane Austin's cell phone communication records confirm collaborating communication with Zach Adams and Lucy Gay White. It was not presented? What? Wait, what? Zach Adams needs access to brother Dylan's truck since Zach's grandfather had taken away Zach's vehicle. Trial testimony of Dick Adams, grandfather to Zach and Dylan Adams. Confirmed by trial testimony of Billy Bell, co-worker to Dick Adams, who was holding Zach Adams' truck in Mr. Bell's mother's storage building at the time. Are you kidding me? I mean, if this isn't ineffective, I mean, we just answered the first two. Then Zach signs into Facebook from his grandmother's computer between 8:39 a.m. and 10:40 a.m. Facebook records, Zachary Adams page 167 to 168, posted 2011, 4/13, 2011, UTC, so you have to subtract that all. Status, you never was, you stupid whore. That's right, you guys. You remember those people, you know those type of people. Okay. If my cousin ever hears this, I love you to death, okay? My cousin would write the wackest shit back in Facebook when it was like super new. And I'm like, I call my aunt. I'm like, you need to get your son. What is he writing on Facebook? Okay. He is making, well, in his own head, he makes hella sense. I was like, he's using his community like post section to basically talk shit to people is what I was like, but he looks like a goddamn fool, or whoever he was fighting with. They're like, and I'm just like, you need to get your son. She's like, what? I was like, look at this shit. You guys know who I'm talking about. You guys know those type of people. And my cousin, I love his ass to death. And I would call him up myself and I'd be like, what are you posting? Like, what the fuck are you doing? But this type of shit right here, this is some stupid ass shit. And then Adams then responds by saying, sorry for the bad word. Let it slip. Won't happen again. Because his mom told him, what the hell? Basically, what are you doing? That was definitely the thing back then, Lana. You know what I'm saying? Like, And you could just tell, you're like, you just know what I'm talking about. Like those people that go back and look at, people would write on their Facebooks and say, yo, what it do? Where's the goods? What's happening? Just like a sentence like that. It's like, what? Your boy's watching TV, bored as fuck. Fuck that hoe and her whole ass crew. What? But that text or that Facebook post is supposed to be about Holly Bobo, about right here, about you never was, you stupid whore. Get the fuck out of here. That's about that herb, that person that he was dating, that stupid cunt. That's who that's about. But it's on his, this was done from his grandmother's computer. You cannot be driving around with the console with your grandmother's computer. Okay. This is wild. And so it's just all of this shit is here. Then the 3 defendants who are just drug ass, like they're just meth heads. The 3 defendants get $5 of gas at Shell Station off of Highway 641 in Holiday, Tennessee. Okay. So here, if you're looking at like the map of when stuff starts, but this is Holly Bobo's like passive travel. It's just like a big, like kind of like a loop-de-loop. And it's just not consistent, which we'll go into that. But this bank record for Shane Austin's account, 2202 POS charge, Shell service station, da-da-da. There you go. And it's like, I thought you guys were only getting $5 worth. And here's like $20. But that's the Shell one. Because didn't he go further? Who knows? But these guys are all high. High as kites. Let's see. Where are we at here? Look at this. Yeah. Okay, yeah, hold on one second. I'm working at the moment. Hold on one second, guys. I'll call you guys. Okay, I'll call you guys. Yep.